are live, right?
Right, and we are live. Welcome everyone to the Casanova podcast. I'm your host, MekelKasanova, coming at you with another amazing The Casanova podcast episode with the one and only, the official DGC. Now go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are, man.
What's going on, gamers and collectors? This is DGC here with MekelKasanova on another podcast, and I've really grown to enjoy his content over the last couple months, and we've been talking and been planning this podcast out for a couple weeks now, and I'm pretty excited to be here.
All right, man. We're glad to have you on the show. We did mean to start this podcast a little bit earlier, but I got called into work, so I do apologize for that. But with that being said, everyone, let's go ahead, get locked and loaded, and let's get into these topics. All right, so one of the topics DGC and I were talking about for a while was basically one is the Xbox as a brand and a console. Is it truly a failure with over 36 million units sold, or is it just because it doesn't have the first party titles that PlayStation has? Is that why people consider it a failure? DGC, what do you think about that?
I'm just setting it up so I can read the chat too. I actually think that Microsoft is doing all the right moves right now with the X and the branding and the backward compatibility. Because I was actually just streaming last night. I streamed Fable Anniversary and Crackdown 1, and the Xbox One X enhanced those, and you can play them on your S as well. And they're now backward compatible on the Xbox One, but then on the X, they have 4K patches on them, and the textures, I mean, frankly, they almost even look like Xbox One X games at this point, and it's a free patch for an old game that you already own. Or hell, you can buy Crackdown for $2.99 at GameStop.
Very true.
That's insane. So on that front, I think that's really awesome that they are just throwing out these patches for free. I mean, so far they have Assassin's Creed 1, Mirror's Edge, Fable Anniversary, Crackdown 1, Skate 3, a few other ones. I forget. And then, more importantly to me, they have some OG Xbox games, I think it's 10 total. I have 8 of them. And, yeah, it's truly great that they're adding all these features to it. And then, for me, I have a PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, but Xbox Live has always been better. PS4 has done a little bit better in the sense this gen, they beefed it up and stepped up their game a little bit. With Xbox Live, though, the community is stronger and better. And aside from Call of Duty World War II, it's easy to get into games on the Xbox versus the PlayStation, in my opinion.
No, I completely agree with you, and I feel like I've tried telling a lot of my friends and some of the people on Twitter that, and it's just this perception a lot of people have that on the PlayStation is just better overall, and I'm like, no, Xbox Live, in my opinion, has always been a superior service. Yeah, in comparison to PlayStation Network. Like I'll take for instance, like when I try to play, I'm not going to use Dragon Ball FireZ. They have horrible servers. But Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, when I try to play that or Tekken 7 on my PlayStation, I'm constantly looking for fights. It's the connection speed is sometimes really shoddy. Whereas if I try to do the same exact thing on the Xbox, I'm getting fights like back to back to back to back to back because the service is just so much superior. And I don't know, like I really agree with you. And when it comes to how they've got the OG Xbox games and the 360 games, and especially with the Xbox One X with the Xbox One X enhancements. I mean, I was playing Ninja Gaiden Black, and I'm trying to beat that on Master Ninja with the perfect rating, and it's something I haven't done that since 2005 when it originally came out, but playing it on my Xbox One X, it's hard to say that that's not a current gen title. That's
right. I mean, insane. And for me, Crimson Skies, that was one of the that was the first title they announced for the program, and then also that was one of the first games that they rolled out. That's one of my top 10 OG Xbox games of all time. So for me, playing that in beefed up, stretched out, ultra scaled, beautiful textures. It was just really awesome to play.
You
I
know,
love.
there's one other game I'm waiting for them to add, Panzer Dragoon Orta.
So funny enough, I actually just beat that for the first time in January for the Winter Backlog Challenge that I was holding, and such a beautiful game. It's like even on the Xbox, it still looks amazing. I couldn't imagine what that would look like stretched out to 4K.
Right. And you're on your original Xbox, you're playing with that HDMI adapter, correct?
I have that, and I also have the official component cables and a. Are you familiar with what a FrameMeister is?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. The HDMI component cables, I did a live stream of that. I tested them out live. They're definitely good for somebody that just has 50 titles for the OG Xbox or less or something like that, and they just kind of casually collect for it, and they just want to conveniently be able to play it on an HD TV. Perfect, because it's $25 MSRP, and it does an amazing job. It doesn't upscale anything though, but with any of the games, it converts it at least into 480p on your TV. So, or I guess it would render it in 480p essentially.
Oh, okay.
But with that being said, it doesn't work on all TVs, unfortunately. So you kind of, granted, you could probably return it, but you're not going to know really unless you try it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to try it out, because trying to use a standard I want to say it was a composite cables that came with the Xbox on my 4K TV. God,
Oh yeah, I'm sure those textures look funny as hell.
Because I was actually trying to do that with my Dreamcast. I got my because my composite cables on my Dreamcast work really well, but when I ordered the VGA to HDMI, like I got the Dreamcast VGA adapter, and it works. The games look amazingly gorgeous for that platform. And then when I got the HDMI adapter, I was having such a hard time trying to get the audio to sync up with, you know, the the video, and it's weird. There's so many different tips and tricks people have to get that to work, and I'm like,
So I will tell you the perfect solution. It's not cheap, but it's from a company called the Bahar Bros. It's two brothers. They're based out of Turkey, the country, and the website is called Bihar Bros, spelled out how it sounds. They have these really awesome products that are specifically for the Dreamcast. I have the it's a
I'm writing it down as you say it.
I'll text it to you later.
Okay.
The one that I have is good with the FrameMeister. So what I have is the Toro box, and it lets you do VGA out of it or RGB SCART. But they also have, and that one's I think 60 or 65, so it's not terribly expensive. Then of course you got to buy the FrameMeister. But they also have one called the Akira or Akiri. I think it's Akira, and that one's actually 85, unfortunately. But it that one actually just converts it straight out of the back into a box, and then it goes into it just goes straight to HDMI. And then there's a switch that lets you go from VGA or RGB SCART depending on what the game, because some of them don't work with VGA, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of, you get to pick basically.
Oh wow. Yeah,
So
definitely.
I definitely recommend that.
Do they also have maybe they don't, but do they have something for the Sega Saturn as well?
No, unfortunately, nobody's really. I don't know why. Like, you've got NES Mini now. You've got Super Nintendo Mini. We know the N64 Mini is going to come out. Then you've got people have made HDMI GameCube mods. And then you got the Xbox original mod now, or it's not a mod. It's a plug and play. PS2, no one's really done that yet either. But with the whole a lot of I would love to see the Sega Saturn get some sort of HDMI plug-in or converter type thing. I would imagine that they'll work on one because I can only assume that they're big Sega guys. So
yeah, because I saw I know Amazon has this S-card to HDMI adapter, but
yeah, is it a little black box about $30?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually Jiggly actually uses one for his stuff. They work, but I bought one and then it immediately blew up the first time I plugged it in. And the problem with using SCART is if the voltage gets messed up and goes back flowing into your system, it'll actually blow your system up. So for me, instead of losing my childhood Super Nintendo, I didn't want to risk that, so I bought a FrameMeister and went the expensive route, unfortunately.
Okay.
But so if if you have sentimental value with your consoles, I wouldn't recommend using those shitty little SCART boxes. Luckily, it didn't blow up my Genesis, but it did blow up the first time I tried to use it.
Goodness. Yeah, I guess.
I was going to say, supposedly Jiggly's had good luck with his, but for me, I didn't have good luck with it.
Yeah, I guess I'll wait. I'll wait until it's something more. Because I want to stream. I've been wanting to stream Shenmue 1 and 2.
Right.
And I can't find Shenmue 2 for the Xbox out here for the life of me. But Shenmue 1, I ordered it after my podcast with Jiggly. And for whatever reason, it never got sent. So what I ended up doing, Amazon refunded me because they never sent. And I just burnt the game and I started playing it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to stream it. So when I ordered all the other stuff, the video was there. It's just the audio. And I was so frustrated with it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely would recommend that Akira box. It's really sweet. I haven't used it personally, but I mean, I've watched some other YouTubers use it. It's basically an upgraded version of the one I have. But yeah, Jiggly has that effect, man. He has me wanting to buy Shenmue 1 now as well. He's all about the Shenmue, so.
And, I'm really, I guess because I'm getting so heavy into Yakuza, and it's just, man, I'm in love with that series right now, and it's just in my head, I'm like, why can't they just, cross over Yakuza and Shenmue? Because, especially with Yakuza 0, since it's happening, I want to say technically around the same time.
Yes. Well, no. Yakuza 0 was what, the 70s?
No. It's 1988.
Okay, and then
Shenmue
is in the 90s. I thought it was 90s.
Was it? Was it?
I've admittedly, sadly enough, I've never played it, so
that's me either. Until recently, and so.
But yeah, Shenmue is definitely 2 games that I do want to beat. So I wanted to actually bring up one topic on my own real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm sure you heard the news of Sega meeting with Microsoft, and everybody put out their speculation videos. Is this happening? Is this happening? I was going to do it, and I was like, I don't really want to go down the clickbait path. But I think it could be 3 potential things. One, just to, I guess, kind of piss off Sony and cause a little bit of a rivalry there. What if they paid them to make Shenmue 1 and 2 HD? I mean, Shenmue 2 was already on the original Xbox.
I mean,
that would cause some serious conflict.
It really would, because the funny thing is, like, Sega and Microsoft has such a good relationship too.
Mm-hmm. They do, and like the second game was already on the Xbox, so like they really wouldn't even need to do much. Even if they just Xbox One X enhanced it, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, like if you think about it, the original Xbox was kind of like Dreamcast 2.0 anyway, with all the Sega games that it was getting. I think that would be cool, and it really would. That would be a blow to Sony if they did that.
Yeah, but it can't be Microsoft's bullshit with their timed exclusives. It needs to be an actual pay for it exclusive.
Yeah,
and people harp on them all the time for paying for it. Whatever. What does it matter? They've got the funds to do it. Let them do it. How do you think Sony gets all these other exclusives too? I mean, it's kind of because they're the market leader, to where those companies, let's say From Software puts out Bloodborne on their system, they know they're going to make hella profit on it. So it might not necessarily be that Sony's paying them for it, but it's, From Software is benefiting from the relationship. You know what I mean?
It's like one of the things I always thought of too, especially with this generation, when you're comparing Sony and Microsoft as far as the PS4 and the Xbox One. The only real big difference I see with them title-wise is the fact that Sony is getting the exclusive Japanese games.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want to break down like what Sony's actually got from their first-party studios versus Microsoft, you'd be surprised. Well, you're
probably actually neck and neck, really.
Yeah, and a lot of people
basically.
Go ahead.
No, I hear what you're saying. They basically are only getting those because they're the market leader. Much like last gen, 360 was the market leader the first half of the generation. So Xbox got all the exclusives last gen. It wasn't necessarily because they paid for them. It was because they were the market leader. Much like I guarantee you in a year or two, the Switch is going to be at 50 million, and they're going to start getting some Japanese exclusives on there too. It's going to happen, and they're not even going to pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you like it or not, like I know it's the cool, trendy thing to bash on Nintendo, but Nintendo and Mario are a household name. My grandmother, who's never played a video game in her life, recognizes Mario.
Yeah.
And like when I drove up to her house a couple weekends ago, she recognized the Nintendo sticker on the back of my car. You know what I mean? Like, or like whenever my mom, when I was younger, she'd be like, "Turn that Nintendo off." You know what I mean? Like, and they're just I mean, at least that's how it was for me. But
no, I had the same thing. That brand recognition that Nintendo has, like, that's why that's why I thought it was so funny when people last year before the Switch came out and when it was announced, they were saying Nintendo needs to die and they just want to go away and be a third party. I'm like, if you're saying that, you guys don't understand how relevant, Nintendo is.
Well, okay, so real quick, and admittedly, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I kind of bashed on Breath of the Wild and Odyssey on my channel. I need to go back and fully play both of them, but for me, they're great games. Don't get me wrong, but they're not exactly what I wanted from Zelda or Mario. So my favorite Zelda and my favorite Mario would be Sunshine and Wind Waker.
You got the two most controversial entries in the series there.
Exactly. So that's kind of why like people might go back and forth with me. But those are the ones that I grew up with. I mean, yeah, I played Ocarina of Time at friends' houses, and I played Link to the Past, and I played all the the 2D Marios prior to Sunshine and stuff and 64. But for me, those were like defining to me, and it's probably just because that's what I grew up with. But to me, those were like the pinnacle of the series. To me, that's Breath of the Wild changed too much. It was you played it, and you played Odyssey too. I mean, basically, if you're a gamer, you played those. But for me, Breath of the Wild was just too damn big. I didn't enjoy that aspect of it. It was too big.
Yeah, and since you brought up Sunshine and Wind Waker, that was, in my opinion, back when Nintendo was doing their best to be the most creative without trying to go like the gimmick route that they did with the Wii and the Wii U. And I remember when both of those came out and people were bashing them to hell.
But now all the collectors are like, "Oh, this is the greatest game of all time, and it's a hidden gem, and it's worth X amount of dollars. This is super rare." And it's just like, I mean, I grew up with it. Those are my favorite, and they've always been. I mean,
I mean, definitely.
But then, so two other theories on the Xbox Sega meeting thing, and this was the one that I actually tweeted out about. I was looking at my games. Okay, so Sumo Digital, are you familiar with them?
Yes.
They just finished Little Big Planet 3, but I think that was 2014 or 2015 that released, right? So what had they been doing?
15, I think, yeah.
Right. So what had they been doing for the last 3 years? My guess is that they're working on a new Sega and Sonic All-Star Racing, which had been rumored about. What if they bring that exclusive to the Xbox? I would be all about that because I actually love that franchise.
Pretty true. I mean, I feel like that's a better racing franchise than even Mario Kart, to be honest.
Right. So before Mario Kart 8 came out, Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed was, prior to it. Yeah. I actually thought that was better than any of the Mario Karts prior to that. I mean, it was a great game. It really was.
Yeah, I feel like they got the drifting, like just the core mechanics of that.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, they're so much better because I have it on Xbox 360 as well as on the Wii U. Man, I loved it. And it was like when I went, the only thing I could say, and maybe because the Wii U port was 30 frames per second, but I'd say the only thing the Mario Kart had over it was the 60 frames per second.
Right.
That was just about it. But other than that, from power-ups, character selection, stages, it played so much homage to Sega.
Right. There was so much cool lore in there. Like you could play as Ryu and you know, I don't even know all the Sega names because I grew up a Nintendo kid, but it was still cool to see them all. And I'm just like, oh, I know all these characters, even though I didn't grow up with them and stuff.
Yep. But yeah, man, that's I would be, you know what, I'm all for it, because if they really are gonna remake 1 and 2, maybe they might be able to get 3. No, because 3 is fully funded by Sony, isn't it?
No,
It's not.
because it's also coming out on PC.
That's
So I think what it was is that they put their name behind it so that people would trust in the project, so to speak. I think, and I think they might have paid for it to be exclusive to this, you know, it as a console, but it is still coming out on the PC as well.
okay.
This would be a jiggly question.
All right, so I guess we can segue on to the second topic, being with the Xbox One X having sold so well, and surprisingly so, in Japan. Is it safe to say that the One X is a step in the right direction, or do you think it's kind of a half step or a failure? Because I know a lot of people, especially on Twitter, a lot of people say that the One X is not worth it. And I don't know if you noticed, a lot of people were trying to downplay the One X before it even released.
Well, real quick, let me ask you this. I had no idea that it sold well in Japan. By well, what do you mean?
I mean,
more than normal?
Yeah, I would say just
okay.
More normal.
So
try to pull up some numbers.
So yeah, so being that I know a little bit about like Xbox lore and the all sorts of stuff, so in Japan the letter X is like a bad thing, and it's like frowned upon, and I guess it's I don't really know how to describe it, but so that was one thing that kind of killed them out of the gate, that the X is just like seen as a bad thing in Japan. Not really sure why. But another thing that has always been a thought of mine, we know that Japan is a small, tiny island, much like where you live, but bigger than where you live. But so there's people, they live in tiny little places, right? Xboxes have always been gargantuan consoles. The X is finally like a small console.
Yeah,
like it's actually I would say it's a good bit smaller than the PS4 Pro. I'm looking at them both right now. I would say it's a good bit smaller.
Yeah, it is. I have mine next to each other too.
Yeah, it's definitely a good bit smaller. So that could be why. And then also, I mean, being that I have both of them, the power is there. It is 50% more powerful than the PS4 Pro. There's no denying that. And I noticed that when you put in games, they just look better and they run better. The system loads quicker. It's just the PS4 Pro to me was more of a half step, and it wasn't even like, it was kind of just rushed out. And I don't even think necessarily any of the games really fully run at 4K on the PS4 Pro. I think they're all dynamically upscaled, which I have the box up there. It even says dynamic 4K all over the box too. So I don't think any of them actually fully run at 4K. But with the X, most of them actually run at full 4K or very close to it.
See, that's what this article is from pushsquare.com is actually, it's not loading up. It's taking forever. I'll try and get that up later on. But yeah,
I believe
it's yeah, it was one of the things I thought was going to kind of hurt it in Japan was the X, like you said, that is looked down upon there. It's a bad thing, but it's, when you do compare the PS4 Pro to the Xbox One X, I feel like PlayStation or Sony, they rushed the Pro out because of the announcement of the X. Like, they're like, no, we're not losing this market lead of, because their whole thing for the longest, for years, was how much more powerful the PS4 was to the Xbox One. And
yeah, go ahead.
When they rushed out the Pro, I remember when I got it day one, and I was super underwhelmed with it. And now, what has it been, a year?
Yeah, it's been more than
it's been 2 years. Well, almost 2 years.
Yeah,
a year and a half.
I got the white Destiny one with Destiny 2. That was September 6th. So that was already 6 months ago.
Well, because I have that one and I've got the original black one, and I'm like, I noticed a performance difference in some games, and I feel like a lot of games are now being tailored more so towards the pro in a way.
Yeah.
But as far as in comparison to how games run on the PS4 Pro to the Xbox One X, it's night and day. Like
No, it
it
really is.
seriously is.
And the thing with that is, though, it's almost hard to convince people of that, but basically you need to spend the $900 and then you could see it for yourself which one is truly more powerful.
Yeah,
and most people don't want to swallow that pill of $900.
And it's like a lot of people I know, they keep, you know, a lot of YouTubers and a lot of other people I know on Twitter and social media, they're saying like, oh, well, why would you spend 500 on the Xbox One X when you can get the PS4 Pro or you can get a gaming PC? And then there are people.
And I'll be the first one to tell you, and people are probably going to hate me on this in the podcast, but I had a beefy PC. When I built it, it was a what was it? A 3700K or 3770, I think K was what it was, and then a GTX 780 Ti a month after that came out. So at the time, that was a big beefy graphics card. It was $800.
Yeah.
And that was only 3 or 4 years ago, and now that graphics card is garbage. And it's just like I had wanted that to last like the entire generation, but it didn't. So for me, PC gaming, I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
Like
it's pricey.
I have my PC gaming rig. Mine's I have a GTX 1070 FTW, but right. Yeah, this trying to keep up with for me, and you know, those of y'all listening who might get offended by this or upset, trying to keep up with PC gaming is hard, especially when the components are so constantly hot swappable left and right. Like every other day, there's a new graphics card, there's a new processor, and it's like you spend more money trying to keep up your PC than you would just buying an Xbox One X. And
well, so okay. At the tail end of last gen, I just really got disappointed with the graphics. So I was like, I jumped into PC gaming, right? And then initially I started out with a GTX 555, then I jumped up to a 670, and then I jumped up to a 780 Ti. So I'm definitely an NVIDIA fanboy on that front. But you basically almost have to upgrade every other year to stay relevant with the graphics. And for me, with when I jumped into PC gaming, I was sitting there always constantly fiddling with the graphics settings and trying overclocking shit and downloading the newest drivers and this, that, and the third. And oh, can I add in bloom lighting? Can I take it out? Can I add in this patch? And can I add in these mods? And it's just like, after a while, it became, I wasn't really caring about the game. I was just trying to make it look as best as I could. And at the end of the day, I'm a gamer first, collector second, YouTuber third.
Yeah. Definitely. And let's see, I've had my rig for about a year, and I'm already noticing like some games don't look as good as they can, even though my rig can push out 4K. Yeah. Like it's just the time, and I try to tell people, I'm like, you know, the time it takes you to, you know, like you said, you know, get all the settings and everything correct. You could just literally just power on the Xbox One X, and there you go. You know, like
I just beat Shadow of War, right? Spent 56 hours in it.
That's what I was gonna call. I was gonna say that game. Like that game looks gorgeous on the X.
It does. It does. So I played the first half on the quality setting, then I played the second half on the performance setting. I didn't really notice any difference in the frame rate. I truly didn't. And it does look a little bit sharper on the performance setting, or the performance setting, and or no, resolution setting. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's that game is badass, and I think it got a bad rap because of the loot situation that they implemented into the game.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the review sites used it as clickbait because it's not merited. Not once did it imply that I needed to buy any of that. Not once did it try to force it on me. I never bought it, and I beat the game, and I had an absolute blast with it. So I just want to say that about that game. But then, you know, back to the PC thing. Like, so you're running a 1070, that's a $400 or $400 to $500 MSRP on that. But with Bitcoin mining, that's really a $900 graphics card now.
Yeah.
So that's what's preventing me from being a PC gamer. I want to buy a new card, but it's just too damn expensive.
Yeah, and one of the other things I noticed a lot of people have said that when it comes to, uh, I guess, getting quality games, they're like, oh, if you don't get PlayStation, just get PC because PC gets a lot of games, and it's like I feel like a lot of people that make that generalization don't realize that there's a lot of shovelware on PC, especially through Steam.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
it's just ridiculous, and
Hmm.
I'd rather just take my chances with Xbox because their first party games are really good. Like
Hmm.
a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, is there a game that's super good on Xbox that you recommend?" I'm like, "Yes, Quantum Break was amazing. I
Oh, I
loved
liked it. I liked it.
it."
One thing I did hate about it being a collector, the all the cutscenes, they were obviously shot with, you know, real people and whatnot. And I think it was like a one season TV show that actually came on TV, I believe.
Yeah,
They're not on the disc, and for me, I get it because they're huge 4K files. But you know, when those servers go down, eventually that game is going to be the gameplay is going to be there, but you're not going to have the videos because you actually, when you're playing that game, you actually stream the you know, the video. It's not actually on the disc. So I guess if you were to play that on or offline, you wouldn't even watch the cutscenes, so to speak.
yeah, it would definitely. It's one of the things that I've been seeing as a trend with games these days is basically the discs are just they're just DRM
It's a
discs.
DRM. It's a DRM
Yeah.
in a box. 100%. If we somehow had the technical know-how to do it, I guarantee you. Um, let me just think of something like Just Cause 3 over there. I'm looking
Mhm.
at it. How do we know that there's 50 gigs worth of data on that disk? It could be 100 megabytes on there that just says he bought the game.
Because don't the most of the Blu-ray discs, I think their max capacity is
50 gigs.
typically 50, right? Yeah.
50 gigs.
So
Like for instance, Shadow of War. I know that that is most of the game is on the disc because I think it's 46 or 47 gigs on the disc because I physically watched it install on my Xbox. And that is one thing I will say bad about the Xbox. They take forever to install games versus the PS4.
true, it does.
So bad.
But there's one thing the Xbox has that I've been begging Sony to implement, and it's like if you're using more than one Xbox console, uh, the fact that everything syncs to the cloud. So if I've got the game installed on another Xbox, like I've got my Xbox Day One edition over here, and this is
Mhm.
actually my wife's setup. Like she's got her Xbox, she uses that Xbox, and we got a PlayStation 4 over there. And every room in our condo, we basically have a game station set up because
Nice.
it's it's something I've always wanted to do, but
Yeah.
now that we've got the opportunity to do it, and she's just as big a gamer as I am, it's like we just float from room to room. And when we're on the Xbox, if I'm at a certain point in the game at another area, as long as I'm connected to the internet, it'll just sync up to the cloud. And if I go to, say, if I play on the Xbox in my bedroom or she plays on the one here, then the game data, like the saves, exactly where I am, everything just moves over. Whereas on the PlayStation, I've noticed that one, they limit you to I think 5 PS4s on your account, and then
Right.
you have to upload your save data and then download it.
Uh-huh.
So
Which is kind of annoying.
it really is. Like I don't even know which because I need to finish Final Fantasy 15. I have it on the One X. I got it while it was on that sale for $30 with all the DLC. I'm annoyed that they just announced the Royal Edition, which I don't know what the difference is between that and the
Um,
collectors.
I think and hope because I will rebuy it at $60 if it actually has the DLC on the disc. I wait for things like that, and I'll rebuy it. I don't. It's no if the patches and the DLC are on the disc, I'm all for that.
I'll get you the I'll send you a contact for them as well for to get like a review copy because I have a
Yeah,
lot of contacts for Square.
that'd be sweet.
Um, yeah, so I've got it on the one. I got it on the one. I got it on the sale. I also got it the day it came out too
Yeah, same.
on PlayStation 4, and I've noticed a big performance difference on the One X compared to the PS4. Even the PS4 Pro, it's a lot
Mhm.
faster on the textures, look a lot sharper.
And the resolution's better too.
way better. But the biggest thing for me is like I don't want to. Well, actually, I don't know which PlayStation I played on last with the most, most
Right.
recent, because I think I was on chapter 9, and I don't know which one I was on when I was playing it. So I don't know which save date is recent, but on the Xbox, I wouldn't have that problem because it wouldn't matter, and I don't understand why they don't
Well, so
bring
one
that.
thing I can tell you, and I've never actually tried it myself, though I do have one. Are you familiar with the PS Vita TV?
Yes, I have one right here actually.
Okay, so I know you can stream your PS4 to it. You know, if they're both hooked up with Ethernet cable in the same house, I believe. Is that how
True.
that works? Have you
You
tried
can
it,
do it. Yeah,
or do you
you
still
can
have
do it
to
with
do the upload
Wi-Fi.
download thing?
Yeah, you still have to.
Plus, it also converts it down to 720p, right?
Yes,
Okay. What I wonder if you're streaming it from a Pro, does it still do that? It probably does.
I can test it out. It probably does still do
Kind
that.
of something I'm curious about. But yeah, I guess I could try it too.
Let's see. We got Liquid Metal in the chat. He did make a he made a really good observation about Sea of Thieves, of how big the success that is on the Twitch.
Oh yeah, and I actually just played that. I got into the beta or whatever. I'm probably gonna play it again tonight.
How is it?
It's so good. I'm very surprised. So what I can say for the game is they haven't advertised it correctly. They really haven't. And then two, there's no, at least in the beta, there's no tutorial on how to play. So basically, I was just relying on my first crew to, help me play along. And I had to have asked them 30 questions to figure it out. But once I finally figured it out, that game is going to be the next big thing for multiplayer. PUBG is not gonna be a thing after this launches. I promise you that.
Wow, is
It's
that
that fun.
good?
It's really fun. It's so ridiculous that it's so simple, but it's so fun. So I played one match for about 3 hours with the same crew, 4 people. So you can do a two boat crew, or you can do a 4 boat crew, and so it's just I can't even explain all of it. But so like. And so there's 3 levels to your ship, right? On at least the 4-player ship. So you have obviously your sails, and you go around and you either raise them or lower them, or you can turn them. And then one guy can steer, and then one guy can lower and raise the anchor and stuff. And then you've got 4 cannons on each side, and you have to load those or preload them, or you can fly out of the cannon too. You can load yourself. You aim the cannon, then you can get in the cannon and shoot out of it too. And then you can. Then there's like treasure maps that you can find. Then on the second, so I'm getting too excited about this game. It's so good. On the second story, you've got you can like change your wardrobe here, and then then there's steps that go down to the basement. Then there's like the map, and then on this side there's cannonballs, and then ammo, and you can change your weapons and stuff. And then in the bottom there's a brig, right? So in the brig, if somebody on your squad is being a douche, all 3 of the people can vote on it, and they can send him into the brig for a while.
Oh,
And the
wow.
only way he can get out is if he quits, or if he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, let me out." And so we actually did that to one guy because he was being a douche. He sat in the brig for like 15 minutes, sending us Xbox Live messages. He's like, "Let me out, let me out, let me out." And I just had an absolute blast with that. And then so like you'll go around and you'll get you'll get maps, and they're, I guess, what they call them, quests or missions or something along those lines. And then you have to look at the big map, and you look at your little treasure map, and then you find the shape of the island. Then you find it on the big map. Then you sail that way, and then it'll show you where the X is. X marks the spot, and then you have to go search around the island for the treasure and stuff. And then you take that treasure, and then you go back. There's like a port city basically, and then you go back to the port city, and you drop off the treasure and whatnot. And then you get in-game money, and then you can buy new outfits and new guns, skins. You can buy all sorts of stuff. And then, funnily enough, we found a powder keg. It's like basically just gunpowder in a barrel, and we couldn't figure out what it was. And then I was like, "I bet you if we shoot that, it'll explode." And then I shoot it while one of my teammates is holding it. It just blows up. The whole ship blows up. But then, like, the cool thing is you can so you find wood and stuff on islands, and then you repair your ship. Right, so they'll get like teeny little holes, and you repair it. So it's got a little bit of Minecraft aspects in it. And then you actually have to take your bucket and scoop the water out. You have to so the basement will be flooding, right? You have to sit there and scoop it. Then you have to run up to the top and throw it off. Then you have to run back down and scoop it. There's a lot of depth to it, even though it doesn't seem like it. and it's such a cool game. I got
Yeah,
to be
'cause
honest with you.
I was gonna say, like, based off of the trailers and everything they've shown, it doesn't look interesting, but
Right,
definitely when you watch it and like people stream it, it looks amazing.
right.
If that does take over, if it really does take out PUBG, then I
Well,
think the only thing left is gonna be what, Fortnite to compete against
well,
it.
yeah. So PUBG's already dying out. I've actually been a huge player on that. I play it a lot on PC, and I even own it on the Xbox.
Hmm.
Um, not going to say that I'm like MLG at it, but I'm pretty decent at it. But I've already noticed a steady decline in the user base. It's not like a dramatic decline, but it is slowly dying down because people are jumping over to Fortnite, which I actually kind of called that that was going to happen. Just amongst my friends, I was like, Fortnite's definitely going to be bigger than PUBG because PUBG they put it out too soon. They rushed it. It's not optimized well. I mean, it's getting better, but even on the PC, there's still a lot of issues. You'll like on the new desert map, you'll get stuck in between rocks and stuff, and then it's just like you have to kill yourself or just wait for the match to end. Doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen,
Wow.
and it's just like that takes the fun away when you just sit there and you get stuck on a rock or something.
Hmm.
So
Because I actually, and this might be surprising, but I've never played either. And I have Fortnite downloaded. I just never played it.
So Fortnite's good, but between the two, I actually enjoy PUBG more.
Hmm.
Even though like with Fortnite being more of a cartoony looking thing, being that
Hmm.
I'm a Nintendo guy, I would think that I would like it more. But despite all the flaws that PUBG has, I still think it's a better game between the two. But
Hmm.
Fortnite took over for some reason, and I foresee PUBG dying out unless they use some of that money that Microsoft gave them to optimize that game better on both PC and the Xbox.
Hmm. Okay.
Because I don't know
I
how much Microsoft gave them, but I know they gave them a lot of money, obviously, to keep it exclusive.
and how does it if because I know you have it the Xbox One X. Do you have like a regular Xbox One as well?
I have all three, yeah.
You have to, okay. What is the performance difference between PUBG on the One X to like the S or the
So I haven't
original
tried it
one?
myself, but are you familiar with Digital Foundry? I'm sure you are.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're very controversial at times.
Yeah, I'll leave that. I don't want to piss off any fanboys, but um, yeah. So they did the PUBG video, obviously, but they said that it was relatively the same frame rates on all three of the consoles, honestly, which is kind of
Mhm.
surprising. Um, and the funny thing enough, the head guy of Bluepoint, tweeted out at one point that the X was going to run it at 60, and
Mhm.
I honestly think that it can. It's just that Microsoft made the claim that they will have parity between the consoles,
Mhm.
and to me, I don't think it's really justified or fair. Um, I mean, think about it. You have a 1070 Ti, and you run the game at 4K, right? I'm
Mhm.
only running on a 780 Ti. I cannot run it at 4K. But like, so you get what I'm saying? Like on the PC front, it's okay that two gamers are running at different frame rates, but on the Xbox, it's somehow not acceptable for them to be running at different frames. I don't see that as Microsoft's logic behind that. You know, if the X can handle it at 60, like just let it run at 60.
Yeah, and I feel that was one of the things with as far as the marketing with the One X, like they need to push it to be, like this game is just we're gonna push it to the max, and that's gonna be the default standard on the X. And I understand the whole parity thing, but I feel like they need to market the X as a platform better than what they are. I don't understand, and it's funny because I used to work for Microsoft. I worked at Game Studios in Redmond, Washington, and switched over to training and retail training. Um, when we opened the Microsoft store out here in Honolulu back in 2012, 2013. And I worked for Microsoft all the way up until 2016.
Oh
And I
wow.
don't understand, like, ever since Satya Nadella became the CEO and president, the, the direction of the company
Yeah.
shifted. And
Yeah.
it's like, not a lot of people, the people that rip on Xbox, I keep trying to tell them, I'm like, it's a company wide thing because Satya Nadella, he got rid of a lot of things from Microsoft Health, the Microsoft Band. He got rid of like the Windows Phone.
Hmm.
He shifted Xbox as a brand as well to being more of a service and a platform than a competing hardware. And it's just because his philosophy on just services as a whole is so different than everyone else who's been with the company. And it's
so with him, I would be willing to bet that he's not actually a gamer.
Yep, he's not.
Right. So for me, if I were Bill Gates, who probably still has some say at Microsoft, I know he's not in charge anymore, but he still probably has some say in it. Why is Phil Spencer not like fully in charge of the Xbox? Like, the guy is an actual gamer. He actually plays games, right? So like he should be able to spend the money to buy, Panzer Dragoon fucking Saga 4K Ultra HD Xbox X exclusive. You know what I mean? He should be able to do that.
Yeah, he definitely should. And I feel like him at the helm, he's a cool guy. I actually got
right. He has. So I forget what the old dude's name was that was in charge of the one right when it first. Do you know what I'm talking about? What's his name?
God. I can't think of his name, but yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Don Lemon. No, not Don Lemon. That's CNN. Sorry. What's his name?
Close enough.
Close enough. But yeah, he ended up working for one of the cell phone game companies after that. And then now I think he's actually jobless.
I'm not surprised.
And I'm not surprised. Oh, we have a console for you. It's called the 360. And it's just like, dude, what? Like, I can't believe they honestly thought the DRM thing would work. Like, if they did that, I would not even support it. I would still, to this day, not have one, and I would never buy one. I'm sorry. As a collector, I need to have those tangible games, right? Yeah. And that's gonna bug me with what his name is now, but you know who I'm talking about. But he just led Microsoft down this dreary path, and then like Phil Spencer, like he's done his best to bring it back to what it's at now, and I think he's doing a great job. He is, but they need to buy some exclusives. Whether they need to find some, they just need to buy them.
Yeah, and actually, to speak to Carl Rocco, he's in the chat. He's going to be on the podcast coming up later on this month. He's a YouTuber out here in Hawaii. So he says in the chat, he said Microsoft is looking to turn the Xbox brand to like a service similar to Netflix.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. I agree 100%. That's what
back when I worked for them, they were already, that was in the R&D back as far as 2009, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's something they've always talked about. I remember being in meetings where they brought that up as far as the execution. It was never. So like when the guy back in 2013, when they announced the Xbox One and they were talking about the services and he was saying about the DRM, it's not that we're not going to that eventual future with gaming, because like we were saying,
it's going to happen.
Yeah. It's just,
I accept it.
He could have said it better.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he kind of single-handedly screwed Xbox.
The Xbox brand. For a good 2 or 3 years, he kind of screwed the brand that he worked for. And for me, it sucks because, it's a staple of my channel. Like, I love the OG Xbox, and I loved the 360 for the first 5 or 6 years of it, and then I hopped over and became a PlayStation guy. And now, with the X, I hopped back over to the Xbox brand as my main platform. So for me, I kind of hate to say it, but for me, it's always just whichever home console is going to bring me the most powerful multiplats is going to be my main console. And that's just how I've always been.
Yeah.
And usually it was always the Xbox.
I mean, really, if you break it down this generation, the Xbox One's first-party lineup of games have been significantly, with the exception of Sony coming out with, I want to say it started with, what was it? It wasn't the Order 1881. It was Horizon Zero Dawn. That was the first-party exclusive for PlayStation 4 that actually did well, because Drive Club flopped. And so
oh my god, I can't believe I spent $60 on that fucking game.
Oh man.
I felt ripped off, man. The promise. And and a lot of people forget this. That was actually supposed to be given away for free at the launch of the PS4.
Yep.
and they didn't, and then I still supported it for $60, and the game is fucking garbage.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but I did anyway.
No, you can, dude. It's open platform. The other game that came out that flopped was the Order 1881, and I bought the collector's edition with the statue.
All right, so let me ask you this: what's your opinion on that game?
It's a decent Gears clone.
So for me, I actually loved it. I loved it. The story was cool. I thought it was a little too short. If it were longer, I bet you that game would have done very well.
It needed at least another 2 hours or 3.
But not filler, like actual good content where like, because I think at the end of the game you end in, or I guess the whole game was in London, but like, so you remember when you're in the airship or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they could have like shortened that level down, and then like some of those levels where you were like on the London docks, they could have made those a little bit longer, or like had a couple more dock levels, or they just needed a couple more levels in it. But frankly, that was actually probably one of the most like surprise hits of this generation for me. For me, I really enjoyed it.
I didn't feel like, I know a lot of people said they felt like it was a horrible game. It was not horrible. The gameplay was good. The graphics were amazing. The story, the voice acting was awesome. It's just, I don't feel it lived up to the hype that they pushed for it.
Right. And I think Sony did that and pushed it because that was really all they had at the time to graphically show off the PS4.
Yeah.
And so the studio that brought that out was, I'm pretty confident in saying this, they were the ones that did the Daxter PSP game and the Secret Agent Clank PSP game. I think that's the studio that they finally let have, you know, a big boy title and do a console game. And it's sad that it didn't sell well because now that studio got shut down.
Man, it's same thing with the Drive Club studio. They got shut down too, right?
And that's actually a really old studio. I think they were the ones that did what are those games? The Driver games, I think. Not the Driver. No, what was what is that game called? It's like based in London. It's like a European people love it. It's like a huge PlayStation exclusive. The Getaway, not the Getaway. I can't remember. I've never played it, but I know it was like a huge thing for like, you know.
I think it was the Getaway. The Getaway 1 and 2. Yeah.
Those were like huge games over there in Europe. And I'm pretty sure they were the ones that did Drive Club, and then that studio is just gone. And like another thing for me, did you play Sunset Overdrive?
Oh man, I did. I loved it.
Loved it.
More people played it.
Right. That's a hidden gem right there. Nobody talks about it really, and nobody bought it. I actually saw a brand new sealed copy that I might go buy for $10 just to keep it. It was at Best Buy, like of all places, like sitting on the shelf, which is really weird. And the crazy thing for me with that is like, A, why is there no sequel? And B, how has nobody bought Insomniac? They're like, I don't think they've ever put out a bad game. In my opinion. Like even the one game that they did with EA, Fuse, have you played that?
No, I haven't actually.
I recommend it, but I would say that's probably their least or their worst game. It's not a terrible game, but it's definitely not one of their better ones. But you know, as far as that, I guess they did the Ratchet and Clanks, and then they did the Fuse, and they did Sunset Overdrive, and then they did were they the one they did Spyro? Yeah, they did Spyro, right?
Yeah, Spyro.
Because Naughty Dog did Crash, and they did Spyro.
And then I think they did Infamous as well. Oh no, that was Sucker Punch.
Yeah, Sucker Punch did Sly Cooper, and then they jumped over to Infamous. And again, I can only assume that what is Sucker Punch working on? Or they're working on Spider-Man. That's right.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm wondering is, since Infamous Second Son did so well, do they have two teams going right now? One working on Spider-Man and one working on another Infamous game? That's just speculation on my part. I have no idea. But I would like to see that happen. Because the way Infamous Second Son ended, they clearly left it off so that there would be a sequel. So I'd like to see that.
Possibly.
I would like to see that. Did you ever play Second Son?
Yeah, I played Second Son. I played the DLC prequel.
Oh, the DLC was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good DLC.
Yeah, I'm definitely. It's been what, 3 years since that came out? It came out in 2015, I think.
No,
2014.
That was early 2014. That was one of the. Oh no, that might even. Yeah, that was early 2014. That was one of the launch window games.
Yeah.
I think it was like spring or summer of 2014.
So it's about time for another one to come
Right.
out.
If I had to speculate again here, I would say that'll probably be one of the like the swan songs of the PS4. That'll be one of the last titles for it, if I had to take a guess.
Do you think it's gonna you do you think Sony's gonna drop a PlayStation 5 like all the rumors are?
So that's tough to say because last gen obviously lasted basically 10 years. Technically it was 7, but really it lasted kind of 10 before they stopped making games for it, like as far
Yeah.
as third party goes. Um, but for me, I would say we're not going to see PS5 till 2020. And by see it, I mean we're not even going to see it at E3 till 2020, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I can agree with you on that.
I still think there's life in it. And I mean, for me, again, another staple of my channel, huge Wii U guy. I think the Wii U still could have survived all the way till 2020. I really do. Fuck it. If it didn't get the multiplats, I don't care. If it had Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and, Pikmin 4 and all these other titles that the Switch is getting, I would have been perfectly content with that. And anybody that didn't buy a Wii U, that's your loss.
I guess considering the Wii U is actually one of our topics, I guess we can skip to that.
Yeah.
Um, would you say the Wii U was truly a failure? Like, if you remove the sales number of units,
Not
given
at
the
all.
software it had and the resurgence of its titles
Yeah.
on the Switch.
Yeah.
So, your thoughts?
Okay. Definitely 100% not a failure. To me, in the future, and not even just because it has a small library, that's going to be one of the most collectible systems if if they don't stop porting all these games up to the Switch, which really, as a Wii U collector, it kind of pisses me off that they're just porting these games up. Like Pokken, I didn't buy it. Mario Kart 8, I did just for the portability. Bayonetta, I'm not going to rebuy that. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do it. I would love to play them on the Switch, but I'm not going to rebuy them. And then Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Nintendo, you're drunk charging $60 for a game that was initially 50 on your older system, that is now 4 or 5 years old. I mean, that to me, that's just, fuck that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, a lot of people didn't buy the Wii U, so on that aspect, Nintendo wants to make the money they thought they were going to make initially, where their sales didn't meet what they intended, so then they ported it up to the next system. So from that aspect, I can understand that, but it really bothers me that like I already spent the money on it. Like, can I at least get a free code? Like, and the funny thing is, they know that I bought all those games because they're all in my Club Nintendo account with the points. So like, throw me a bone, throw me a free digital code. You know what I mean? Like I already bought the game.
Yeah, they should have. There should be some type of incentive or reward for people who did support the Wii U titles, and it's something that I have not understood why Nintendo has not gone that route.
Or like another thing to me, so like with Bayonetta 2 and Donkey Kong and Pokken and what was the other one? Mario Kart. Those all should have been, and this would really put the Switch on fire if they weren't so greedy about it. If they sold those games at $30 price tags, oh my God, they would be moving some Switches.
Yeah, because it's not even cost. I mean, if you really think about how much
a damn thing.
It's not. It's pennies for them.
Well, they already made their money on Mario Kart, and they probably made their money on Bayonetta. Let's be honest; it sold 500 or more thousand copies on Bayonetta. Mario Kart 8, I'm pretty sure, is the best-selling Wii U game aside from Nintendo Land, which was a pack-in, and New Super Mario Bros. U, which was also a pack-in. I think Mario Kart 8 was the best-selling Wii U game, if I'm not mistaken. So they already made their money on it.
Yeah.
So like, just sell it at a budget price, or like, during the holiday this year, they should come out with like a Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 bundle at like $300.
And that's one of the things too. I see a lot of articles and a lot of people say how horrible the Wii U is, and I think people should put that, especially some of the YouTubers I've seen that have bashed it. I think they should put it in proper context. Because if we're looking at sales numbers, yes, that was a flop. 4 years, was it 13 million units or?
Yeah, it was like 13.6.
Yeah. So if you're looking at it from a sales perspective, yes, it's a failure within the course of 4 years. But if you're looking at content, Nintendo was banging out. I mean,
so I said that I'm pissed off about them porting all that stuff over. But during that gen, they were supportive of their fans. Toward the tail end, it kind of died out with, you got the Mario Tennis game, which to me, I think that's one of the best graphical games on the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
But it is definitely a budget, and it was sold at a budget price, but it is clearly a budget title. And then you had the Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, which could have been worked into a better game. Like if they had made that a Mario Party clone with Animal Crossing skins on it, I think it would have actually sold well and been a good game. And then there was a couple other more budgety titles they did at the end there. And then right toward I think it was 2015, I guess it was. Yeah, right at the beginning of 2015, they opened the gates for physical indie games, and that's why you saw Shovel Knight come out, and you saw Terraria come out, and Runbow, and all those other Wii U games that came out physically that were digital titles. That's why, because they wanted physical titles on the shelf to help sell the Wii U. Even though it clearly didn't work, but that's what they tried to do at the end there.
I think too, if they were going to release the Wii U, I think one of the things they should have done was release it. If not 2010 to 2011, it would have been a better time frame for them, or they could
have launched it sooner.
Yes, I think given how it was much more powerful than the 360 and the PS3. It would have made more sense, but I understand also there was an issue with programming for it. Right. They also did not have the online infrastructure because I feel like the online infrastructure, even though if you're an Xbox player from the OG Xbox, which I think it launched in 2003 when Xbox Live.
What did that launch with? I think it was MechAssault that it launched with.
Yeah.
Xbox Live. And 2003 or late 2002, maybe. I can't remember.
I want to say. Yeah. So if you were playing Xbox for a year, like since the early 2000s, you were used to online play, or even if you're on PC, you're used to it.
No, I had Xbox Live way back in the day, yeah.
But if you were a PlayStation primary owner, Nintendo owner, you just really didn't buy it. Yeah. And I feel like with Sony, they didn't really get serious about it until halfway through the PS. Yeah.
I would say the PS3 didn't really have good online, frankly.
It really didn't.
It really didn't, and that's why it was still free. I mean, that's we jumped back.
Free.
It should be. I mean, I can justify paying for Live because I think it's actually a good quality service. But with PSN, I don't really feel like I get the value out of it. And to segue real quick, I don't know if you've realized this, but the games that I think Microsoft offers better free games than Sony does.
Oh, indeed. They do.
They do. The value is definitely more there than it is on the PSN. But back to the Wii U. So for me, I think they should have actually launched it against the Xbox One and PS4. They should have spent that year and put a better, CPU and GPU in it. Something that could have, so the claim to fame was during this gen was teraflopped this, teraflopped that. They should have made it to where it was almost as powerful as the Xbox One X, and they should have made it x86 architecture. Yeah. With the cool, let's be honest, the gamepad was kind of a gimmick, but it was a cool gimmick. And to me, and I actually spoke about this on one of my videos not that long ago. Like let's just take like Metroid Prime 2. You remember the multiplayer on that?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you playing that online, or like let's say 4-player co-op. You've got 4 people playing with Wii U Pro controllers, and you've got 1 person with the gamepad, like doing something different. You know what I mean? Like it could have been like an asymmetrical. So many opportunities for the multiplayer on the Wii U that were just not utilized, right?
Yeah.
And like, did you ever play Tank? Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, so like that was like a really cool use of the gamepad, right? Or like Pikmin 3. Again, the ultimate way to play that is to have the Wii U pad in front of you with the map, and then you play with the Wiimotes. And like it's just super precise with the Wiimotes, and then you're looking at the map. You don't even have to pause. You can just look down while you're playing, and like it's just nonstop playing.
Yeah, and definitely. I agree with your point. They had the software.
Yeah, they did.
Had the software. It's just the hardware.
They lacked the power. And I'll be the first to say that they did it again with the Switch. They're lacking the power. They are.
Like if you think about it, yeah, like the Switch, and I've said this before. I feel like the Switch was everything the Wii U was
It's what
supposed
the yeah, exactly. Because if you look at the early prototypes of the Wii U, it's two Wiimotes strapped to a touchscreen.
And I guess we could actually segue into our next topic, which is since the Nintendo Switch is now a year old officially,
Yeah.
as of yesterday, and a complete success within its first year.
Oh
Do
yeah.
you feel that Nintendo has finally struck gold, or are they still not where they should be?
They're still not where they should be. And as a Nintendo fanboy, I can say that. The online is still garbage. You have to use a phone app to just play Splatoon with headset, and that's asinine. That's 100% asinine. I get it from the standpoint that you don't want kids listening to me say, "Oh, I shot you in the face with my fucking paint." I get that, but make it to where there's a kid account and an adult account, and like once you log into the kid account, that it tracks your birthday or something, so that it knows when you turn 18 and you're legally allowed to listen to cuss words or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I want to get on Splatoon with you and Jiggly and be able to just plug in the headset and play, that shouldn't be a barrier of entry of why I stopped playing Splatoon, because I can't yell at my teammates for being stupid. You know, I played the crap out of Splatoon. The one downfall of that game that could make it even better is if it had mic support.
You know, and if I recall correctly, didn't the Discord people offer to make that for Nintendo? Or
Correct.
do
For free too, I think.
because it needs to be there because that app was atrocious.
Uh-huh. Now, and then the funnier thing is Nintendo is doing it cheaply, but they're coming out with their own online service, and it's going to be $20 a year. So that's totally cheap. But with that being said, the old saying, you're going to get what you pay for. Are they going to actually give us a decent online service, or is it just going to be some garbage?
I think if anything, Nintendo probably needs to talk with Microsoft and understand how infrastructures work.
And clearly, Phil Spencer doesn't mind helping them. He's always saying that he's willing to help them.
Yeah. You know, I really think that they need to. I feel like, too, and I know this is kind of a side topic, but Nintendo and Microsoft have a really good relationship.
They really do, and it's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
It is.
So.
You know, I've always liked that, because I don't know if you recall this, and this was something that I was very excited for way back in the day. They actually were making a Halo game for the DS.
Yeah, I remember that.
I would have loved to have played that. That would have been badass.
Because I think with Minecraft for the Switch, you can actually get Master Chief in it.
I think so. Yeah, on the Xbox, or actually probably all of them.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would assume they let you do that in all of them.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, I was really like, if Nintendo's gonna emulate anyone's online, I'm hoping it's Microsoft's, because they've had so long to get it right. I mean, nearly 20 years, or at least 18 years now. They've gotten it. They've had time to perfect it.
Yeah, I mean, it was already perfected on the original Xbox, and then they added in the arcade, and then they added in, different stuff. But I mean, it was already as good. It was as good as it was gonna be on the original Xbox, and it's been that good ever since, in my opinion.
And like, if you really break down like the numbers of active players on Xbox Live compared to like PlayStation Network, there's significantly more people playing on Xbox Live, like consistently as a number. And if I'm correct with Minecraft on the Switch, can't you play that with people on Xbox? There's something that's cross-platform play.
It's Rocket League.
Just Rocket League.
Yeah. I don't think Minecraft on the Switch is. I don't own it. I got to be honest. That's one game I just couldn't get into.
I have it. I have it on PC. I have it on Xbox, and I also have it on Switch.
I mean, I have played it, but it's just not for me. It's just.
I find Dragon Quest Builders to be.
Oh yeah, I love Dragon Quest Builders. That's another game that I really would love to have on my Switch, but I can't double dip on it. I already spent $60 on it, or however much it was when it came out. I'm not going to double dip on it.
And they're making two right now, I think.
And that's the thing for me. I'm pretty confident in saying that on the PS4, the original one runs at 60 frames, right? But then the Switch one obviously runs at 30. And that's not necessarily a game that really matters because there's not that much action going on it. But for me, if the option is there for me to get 60 frames a second in my game, I'm going to go for that one. So, like, that's where the Switch being kind of under, and yeah, I get it. It's real tiny and thermal and all that good stuff. But for me, I don't want, I want to get the best experience, and I want it on handheld, but I also want it at 60. You know what I mean? So in a weird way, and I was talking about this with Jiggly the other day, it's kind of like, when you were younger, you would buy, let's say 007 Nightfire, right? And then you would buy the Game Boy one, and it would be good, but it wouldn't be as good. You know what I mean? So it's almost like you have to buy the same game twice just to get it.
Yeah. And that's one of the things. Looking at the Switch, I mean the Tegra X1 or the custom Tegra X1 chip that they use, it's very powerful. As far as them wanting to push out the Switch for, what is it? The rumor is a decade they want to do.
I don't think that that's true. I'd be willing to bet that got missed in translation or something along those lines. I don't foresee that. A decade? I mean, come on, that's just asinine.
Yeah, I think as a brand, they could probably push it out if they do like a dock upgrade or they do a revised model.
Okay, so supposedly due to all these clickbait rumors on YouTube, they're not going to do a dock, or they're not going to do a second model or whatever. I don't watch all those clickbait videos, but they're probably going to make a second revision because let's look at it. They did it with the Game Boy Pocket. They did it with the Game Boy Color. They did it with the GBA. They made revisions of all their handhelds. They always have and they always will. But if I remember when the rumors of the Fusion started happening and all that stuff, and there was a rumor or a patent, and it was a proven patent of having like an external power module kind of thing. So I could foresee that happening because the USB ports that are on the Switch are USB 3.0s, which allow for 10 gigabits a second of throughput. So I don't know how all that. I'm not going to pretend I'm some kind of engineer, but they could theoretically make some kind of thing that would either plug into the existing dock or make a better dock that would, up the resolution on games in console mode. But then it would kind of be like the parity thing with the Xbox One and the Xbox One X, where, when is it acceptable to do this? And like so far, there is actually one game on the Switch that is handheld only. It's that one game, Severed, I think it is handheld only, right? And like, is Nintendo okay with doing that? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and I think like going forward with the Switch, I think it's really good that they are getting a lot more third-party support. But one of my issues with the Switch, and I don't really publicly speak about it a lot, but my biggest issue with the Switch right now is when it comes to third-party games, the parity between the Switch version and other platforms is just not there. Like, it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, the graphics and performance, and and you look at how Nintendo with their first-party titles being not only they're
silky smooth. The frame rate is amazing, and they've always been known for that. The frame rate's amazing. The polygons are ultra sharp for their visual styles that they do. But I don't know. I mean, like, look at LA Noire or Bayonetta or like all these other things. You have to have a memory card to even play these games.
Yeah.
So then that's making your $300 console really a $400 console, and that's before you even get your first game.
Because even now, I've got to get that 400 gig SD card because my 128 it filled.
So do you download some of your games, or do you have all physical?
I try my best to get all physical, but I get a lot of digital. Yeah, and
so for me, I don't have a memory card in it yet. I only have physical. I have about 25 or 30 titles. I'm getting ready to do a collection video on it soon. But yeah, I mean, I haven't had the need to buy a memory card yet, but the day's gonna come where you have to. It will happen. just like with the Wii U, to play Xenoblade Chronicles X in the proper way that it was meant to be played, you have to download the expansion texture things onto a hard drive, basically, or you can use a USB flash drive or a memory card or whatever. But I just opted for a hard drive, and my Wii U just has a hard drive now with all my stuff saved on it.
Yeah, they really, and that's one of the things. And I've heard people argue saying that they wish it came with more storage, and they compared it to the PS4 and the Xbox One. And that's one of the arguments I've had with a lot of people online. I'm like, you understand, flash storage is different than the standard, and they're like, oh, no, it's the same thing. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's different.
Flash storage is so much more expensive.
Oh yeah, so I'm looking at the chat, and Carl's saying about the Switch XL. I could foresee that happening. Now, there was a clickbait video put out by somebody about a Switch Mini. That's not going to happen. If you went any smaller with it, it wouldn't be fun to play. It's already, like, those Joy-Cons are already pretty uncomfortable to play, in my opinion, without grips on them. I don't know if you agree with that, but I don't think they're very comfortable.
Yeah, if you like small. I actually have to take my Xenoblade controller with me everywhere I go if I take my Switch, just because it's not comfortable. Or I'll have to wear, like, I've got this battery case, and that's the only way, because it gives me the extra grip. Because by itself, I feel like the Switch, like, if I were to grip this, it's not comfortable like this at all.
Oh yeah, not at all. Oh, did we just get hit by some horrible lag here?
Did we?
I think so.
Oh.
At least you are on my screen. Maybe my internet's crapping out.
You probably have faster internet than me. Out here in Hawaii, the fastest we can get on a consumer level is 300 megs. There's talk of 1 gig, but yeah, the infrastructure out here in Hawaii is not prepped for 1 gig of.
Oh, all of America's not equipped for that. And then back to the whole Xbox going full on digital and stuff. That's why I don't think it'll succeed, because my cousins that live out in Morgantown, Virginia, or West Virginia, they're still rocking kilobit internet, because that's all they can get. That's all that. Well, it might very well be megabytes, but it's not in the high megabytes. They might get like 2 or 3 megabytes down and like 1 up. And like, that's just what they're used to, because that's all they can get out there.
That sounds like kind of like my wife's. She's from Molokai. That's one of the other islands out here, and the fastest internet there is around the kilobytes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a fallacy that the U.S. has like good internet, because we really don't. Frankly, like, most of Europe has like insane internet compared to us, and we just have garbage internet in America. We really do. Because the corporations just kind of have us by the balls, really.
True.
So,
but I guess we can segue over to another topic, and I kind of want to ask this, considering I've been playing Metal Gear Survive. So this question is: has Konami become an irrelevant developer, or are they slowly making a comeback in the West, given their steady success in Japan and
for me,
or Kojima fans, are they just unwilling to give them a chance?
Yes. To your second question, yes, I'm unwilling to give that game a chance. The first question,
it's not bad though.
Sure, but for the price and having to pay for save slots and this and that, I'm good. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm a huge Metal Gear fan. I have all of them. I've beaten them all many times. So for me, I think Metal Gear is dead now. Like, without Kojima, it's dead. That's just all there is to it. It's dead. The only thing they could ever do is ports and remasters and remakes graphically, but that's all they could do. Without him influencing the story, the stories are just dead. That's all there is to it. Unless he somehow secretly left them some old stories, or like a notebook like Steve Jobs did. It's dead. And then as far as them coming back and being relevant, they would have to actually dig down and get some of their older IPs out. Like I'm under the impression that Super Bomberman R did decently as far as sales go.
Yeah, it did.
Um, Again, this is another time where I think if they had charged a little, that was 50 when it came out. That should have been 40, and I think a lot of more people would have bid on it. Um, However, I mean, I bought it day one because it was really that and Zelda was pretty much all you got day one that was worth playing, in my opinion, for the Switch. And with that being said, though, I think they did pretty well on Bomberman. I enjoyed it, but I mean, what else have they released recently? That's all I can think of.
I mean, unless you're in Japan, you get pachinko slots. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cool Metal Gear pachinko slots. It's so sad to see my man Snake, go out like that. And I will say this on Metal Gear Solid 5, not having David Hayter as the voice really kind of ruined the game for me.
A lot of that has to do with Kojima and
Right, I'm
Hayter.
aware.
Yeah, like
Not getting along at the end there or something, but I don't know. They should have just toughed it out because for me, David Hayter is Solid Snake. Like
yeah.
there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then the whole excuse that they used on that was that, oh well, this isn't actually, this is Big Boss. This isn't actually Solid Snake. But I can come back at that rebuttal with David Hayter did Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3, so why would he not have done it in Metal Gear Solid 5?
True.
See what I'm saying? Like, why why is that even a relevant argument when he did Metal Gear Solid 3? So that's like he's always been, Snake's voice, whether he was Big Boss or not. And Snake is a clone of him, so like you would think that his voice would be the same anyway, right?
See, I would have been fine if they actually added in Hayter to the game and like the scenes that actually had Big Boss, he would voice, because I just didn't feel like Sutherland did a good job.
No,
like, he's just Jack
he's
Bauer.
overrated. He's overrated in my opinion. As Jack Bauer, good performance there, but you're playing with my heartstrings there when you're attacking one of my favorite, or not attacking, but when you come in onto being a guy that I've known since the 90s as David Hayter, right? Go ahead.
No. That was just that was just my thing. It's just like when I played Ground Zeroes and I heard Sutherland for the first time, I was like, what was it? His first line was "Kept you waiting, huh?"
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
So when they did the first teaser trailer, immediately I knew what it was. When the OXF popped up on the screen backwards, I was like, oh, they listened, new Metal Gear. And then as soon as I heard the voice of "Kept You Waiting," I was just like, no, you didn't, because you just ruined the franchise. And I mean, I feel like that turned a lot of people off. Like it really, I mean, I played it because I want to be in the lore and I want to know every little detail I can, but it really hindered the experience for me.
Yeah. And I feel like it shouldn't have been two games. Like if anything, they should have released Ground Zeroes as the demo. It should not have cost 30. What was it, $30? What was it, 40?
I think it was, yeah. And sadly enough, I wanted to buy it really badly because I was like, oh, Metal Gear fan, I gotta buy it, but I couldn't get around to it because I was just like, you could beat the whole thing in like 2 hours, I think, right, give or take.
Yeah.
You're not gonna master it and get the best ranks and stuff, but you could beat all of them in like an hour or two. So, $30 for that. I mean, come on, that should have just been a free demo.
Yeah.
It should have been a highly promoted free demo that was like a badass demo, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the game sold well. Like, don't be twisted. I think it sold like 8 million, so it definitely sold well.
I feel like they were just rushing to get something out at that point because I mean, 5 in itself is just so incomplete.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I got it. I got the Ground Zeroes day one, and then I got Phantom Pain day one.
What was that little boy's name? He was basically Ocelot as a little boy. What was his name in the game?
Liquid. He was
a little boy.
What's his name?
I forget. It's been so long since I've played it.
It wasn't Ishmael, because Ishmael was Snake.
Yeah,
That was what was his name?
it was something weird.
See, now I'm gonna look it up.
All right, while you're looking that up, the reason I'm bringing that up is because they didn't really give you the real ending to the game.
No.
As far as the gameplay wise, it wasn't there, and that was because they rushed it out because now we know Kojima was having a feud with Konami. But you know, again, like that just sucks.
Eli.
Yeah, Eli. It was Liquid basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, and that it just to me that sucked. And then the actual cutscene ending of it, I don't know if you saw it, where you weren't really Big Boss. You were basically like plastic surgery into Big Boss. Sorry for spoilers for anybody that didn't beat it yet. But I don't know. I mean, that was cool, but it was kind of just like, I mean, well, and I guess in a way that kind of is like ultimate Kojima plot twist kind of thing because he loves doing that. But you know, Metal Gear 4 or 5 was great, but in my opinion, they almost could have even left it at Metal Gear 4 because I mean that was the ending of the series anyway. So
they should have.
Well, actually, I guess Rising Revengeance with Raiden was after Metal Gear Solid 4 anyway.
But that's not canon though, right? That's the spinoff. Like that's not actually canon to.
I would say it is.
Is it really?
I would say it is. Because I mean, yeah, I mean, did you play that? I enjoyed it. I honestly enjoyed the hell out of it.
I did, but I thought they didn't make that an official. Like it's kind of a spinoff alternate universe.
I don't know. I'm not honestly sure. I mean,
because I know on the wiki it says it's a parallel continuation. It's not.
I wouldn't mind seeing another one of those, frankly. Like if Platinum does it again, I would love to see another one. Yeah. Like that's a way for them to keep the story relevant, like the franchise relevant by continuing on with that. You know, or something that they could do with like Peace Walker. They could actually do what they did with Shadow of the Colossus, but with Peace Walker. I think that would do real well.
Yeah. I would be down for that. I mean, Survive, I would say I would hope you would try it.
I mean, if I could get it for free somehow, then I would absolutely love to try it. But like, again, being that they added all the microtransaction stuff, maybe they should have made it free to play with the option of having microtransactions.
They're actually going to be removing a lot of the microtransactions. They sent an email to a lot of us that got the review codes, and I guess because of the backlash, they're dropping a lot of it. Pretty soon, the $10 character save slot is going to be gone. They're going to.
I mean, like, what was Konami smoking when they thought that was going to be okay? Like, they know, like. Granted, they're all the way in Japan. They speak a different language, but they know that there's a huge controversy. Even if you're not a gamer, you know that this loot box thing is a huge controversy right now. Why would you have put that game out like that? You know, were they just testing the waters to see if they could still get away with it? That's kind of what I think they were doing.
Yeah,
I would say that this is the final nail in the coffin for loot boxes, though. I think they're done at this point. They're done.
Yeah. One thing I would say Konami needs to do. I would love to see them bring back, and I think it's going to happen soon, given the success of Castlevania on Netflix. They need to make another.
Yeah.
And I think because I don't know what your thoughts were on the Lords of Shadow. I loved Lords of Shadows.
I actually just picked up the original one. I haven't played it yet, but go ahead and continue.
The original one, loved it. Right. Mirror of Fate, not bad.
Okay.
2 just, and I think the problem with 2 was Kojima didn't help with the story, which he did.
Oh, he worked on them.
He worked on, yeah, that was his.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, really?
Yeah. So
now that makes me want to play it even more.
Because you'll get when you get through to the end of Lords of Shadow 1, you'd be like, "Yep, that's a Kojima twist."
Okay, so I'll notice that like he developed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mirror of Fate and
what were those on? What's Mirror of Fate on?
Mirror of Fate originally was 3DS, and now it's on Steam and on PS3 and
Physically or
Xbox
just digitally?
digitally.
Okay. So I'll have to look for that
Um,
one too.
yeah, so it's pretty good. It's basically if you played it, I would say that the Mirror of Fate is the precursor to Metroid uh, Samus Returns because same team made it. Samus
Oh,
Returns,
okay.
Mercury's team, which they did really good with. My issues with Mirror of Fate is just the fact that it was not not Mirror of Fate, but Lords of Shadow 2 is it didn't. I don't feel it lived up to the first one. There's a whole lot going on, a lot that's not explained. You really have to pay for the DLC in Mirror in Lords of Shadow 2 to really understand like what's going on. But if you buy the DLC, which is technically a prequel, it's a sequel to Mirror of Fate and a prequel to the main story of Lords of Shadow 2.
So there's almost 4 games in the series then.
Yes, but do not play the DLC to Lords of Shadow 2 before playing the main game. Otherwise, it's going to spoil everything.
Okay. So play the download one first, then play the actual first game, then play the second one, then go back and play the second game's DLC.
No. First one.
Yeah.
The first one has 2 DLCs as well.
Oh, shit.
Rivray and I forgot what the other one is. But play those 2. Then play Mirror of Fate. And then after Mirror Fate, play 2 and then 2's DLC. So yeah, it's a good story. It's just Kojima not being involved in the second one really hurt the writing.
Right.
So I would love to see another one because it ends in a cliffhanger.
I agree with that. As Castlevania is, I like all the older ones. I've just never gotten into those ones, just because I never see them or they're too expensive when I do see them at GameStop. So basically, I like Sega's strategy. What they did with Sonic, they're going to basically have both, or I can assume they're going to have both of these series going in the future. Whether they keep calling it Mania or whatever they call it, they're going to have the nice 2D side-scrolling one that half the fan base likes, and then they're going to have the 3D ones that the other half likes. And I think that's a good thing to do. And with Castlevania, most of the games that they've done in the franchise lately have always been 3D, but I think more people like the 2D ones, right? I would just assume. So I kind of think that they should do both.
Yeah. Konami needs to do. They've got some key franchises they need. They need to bring back Contra. They need.
Oh my god.
A duality of Castlevania, like you're saying, like they need to have the 2D and they need to have the 3D.
Yeah, because then they'll pull in both people that that like it. I think again, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm actually bidding on Contra 4 for the DS right now on eBay. I would love to see a new Contra game, and it should be exclusive to the Switch because when I think of Contra, I personally think of Nintendo myself. And I think they should like Contra 5. Just call it Contra 5, make it exclusive, make it like a $30 title, and make it badass.
Yeah.
Like really nice side-scrolling, but like with like amazing visuals to it,
They need to make it in the style. Like when you do get to play 4 is amazing. Oh my god.
Oh, you haven't?
Yes.
So I actually I didn't even know it existed until a couple months ago. I'm really intrigued by the dual screen functionality of it, where like you grapple up to the other screen and like that looks awesome to me.
The first time I ever played it was back in 2008 when I was with one of my exes up in Pennsylvania, and I got to rent it at the library of all places. They had it.
What?
Dude, it is amazing. It's truly an amazing game. It's a call to form back to like the original Contra and Contra 3, the Alien War. So I really loved it.
Yeah, I only own the first 3 so far. Well, actually, that's not true. I own the one on the PS1. I actually own a lot of the Contras now that I think about it. I really do love Contra. I really do. They're tough as nails, and I'm not great at them, but I do love playing them. What other franchises does Konami have though? I can't really think of many.
They have the Mystical Ninja series, which is really good.
But that's not really.
It's more niche. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a huge collector, and I don't even honestly know what that is. I've heard of the name, Oh wait, no, I know what that is. That's Goemon, right?
Goemon. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know what that is. I know what that is. I'm not into them, but I know what they are. But yeah, that's definitely a niche thing if I don't collect it.
Yeah. So there's that. They have win back.
Was you mean the seventh gen game, the shooter game?
Yeah, because it came out originally on the 64, and then they remade it on PS2. And
Right.
yeah.
Oh, I'm think. What am I thinking of? There was some. I'm not thinking of that. I have win back on 64. Thinking of a different game. It's not a Konami game. Yeah, that's a franchise they could bring back.
I don't know
Do
how
you,
to do it in this current day and age, but I mean, they could.
well, they could make it basically a Gears clone because it's. I mean, it's kind of what it was. I mean, it was a cover-based game, right? That was the cover-based game, right?
It was the first one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm pretty sure Cliff Bleszinski got his ideas of Gears from that game.
From that, yep.
Yeah.
That and
So
kills.
he could. Yeah, so he could. They could bring that back as a franchise too, and like if they made the multiplayer good, like make it something crazy, like 16-player multiplayer with that, like something crazy, like big maps, like that. Do you play Gears at all? Like for me, I've always thought Gears would be a little bit funner with more people, like on a
Yeah,
bigger map.
I have it. I want to co-op the campaign again. I just don't have anyone to play with.
Let's do it.
For I actually have all of them, and I
Let's
have.
do it. I'll do every single one of them with you. I love Gears co-op. I love it.
All right,
Love.
I'm down. We should stream it too.
I'm down. I love Gears so much. I've played all of them so many times.
The only one I haven't played is Judgment. That's the only one I have it, and I haven't played it.
So Judgment is good, but you have to remember going into it that it's so that one focuses on Baird mainly, and then it's so you remember the horde mode that they added into they started that in 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically in the campaign there's a lot of missions where you'll stop in a room and then the walls will seal up and then you're like in a little horde mode in the campaign. So to me it was kind of tacked on in the campaign. They should have beefed it out and made it a better campaign, frankly. But it is definitely worth playing if you're into the franchise.
Okay. I definitely go back and play it. Oh yeah, that's another game, Gears of War 3 with the Xbox One enhancements, the One X enhancements.
Did they 1X those?
I believe they did with 3.
Recently? I don't. They might have actually. Yeah, they might have. I just didn't check that out. Maybe. But yeah, I mean, I'm 100% down to play that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for a co-op buddy. I've been trying to get the boys to play Borderlands 4-player co-op on stream. I feel like that'd be badass to watch, but I can't seem to get anybody to want to do it. So.
I actually would be down for it because I was gonna go ahead and pick up Borderlands, the Hanson collection, and I want to play it, but I have no one to play with.
Exactly. Okay. Well,
everyone I know is playing. They're just playing Overwatch, and I'll be honest, I can't get into Overwatch.
I didn't even pick it up. It's just not. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Good. Oh, but yeah, I guess we got 2 remaining topics. I guess one of them is the toxic nature of the gaming community, gaming YouTube channels, intolerance and political correctness and political statements in gaming. What are your thoughts?
All right, so I just passed 500. That was a big milestone for me. That was what I wanted. That was my goal for 2017. It took a little bit longer, but I'm okay with it. But the toxic nature of it. So now that I'm at 500 subs, I've met a lot of people. I met you. I met Jiggly. I've met lots of various different people throughout the years, and it's been about a year and a half. So I met a lot of people in that time period. I've learned a lot of things about a lot of YouTubers doing some shady shit, bot farms, and I'm not going to name names, but something I would never participate in that myself. All the subs I have are genuine, and most of them are actually active on my channel, which that's what I actually enjoy. Just even on my Twitter account, one of my subs, he messages me all the time, and I enjoy that more than anything. He shows me his pickups, and in that aspect, it's really cool because it's just like I get to actually interact with these people that enjoy me ramble on about games, and that's what makes it fun for me. That's what keeps me coming back. But as far as the toxic nature of it, there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of underground drama because in the YouTube there really is. So
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, do you have like a little crew that you kind of run with, so to speak? Like you're
Um,
kind of just out there on your own, right?
I was with a group. I
Right.
started a group last year, and one of the group members is actually the best man at my wedding, and he
Okay.
was one of my best friends. And then we fell out over some
Really?
drama and
Over YouTube?
YouTube and personal, and
Okay.
it just
Wow.
bled into each other, and it yeah. I had a group. It was called Polytext, and we talked like politics, gaming, sports. We had like a game show once a month. We were doing
Yeah.
all tens, and yeah, that fell apart. And I've kind of been like, I don't know if I want to do another group. But I've made a lot of good friends on YouTube, like Power Level Amy, you, Jiggly. Uh, it's great to network, but
Oh yeah.
there's so much drama.
Oh yeah.
I've
It's
been
quite
in.
crazy.
I'm over here like it's funny because for me, I'm at this mindset now. I'm like, I don't have the time
Uh huh.
for the drama.
Right. It's like you wanna make your content, but you also
Yeah,
wanna play games, and then, you wanna network a little bit too on Twitter or, wherever, and
yeah.
I do that too, but, like, so for me, as far as all the subscribers that I have, I would say that, the relationship with Jiggly is probably one of my favorite because you know, he just straight up called me out in the comments when I was like, I'm the best DOA player ever. And obviously I was just boasting and kind of joking around about it. But, as far as all the people that I've ever played DOA with, I am the best, right? But then
Mhm.
he played me and he destroyed me. I'm not gonna lie about it. But then, to set up that fight, I was like, dude, give me your phone number, we'll text. And then now I talk to the man almost once, probably every, let's say 2 or 3 times a week. We'll talk for like 20 minutes on the phone,
Yeah.
and it's a blast. So like in that aspect, I do like that about the community. You just have to find the right people in the community that are genuine and actually care about gaming. Are not, they're going to support you and they're not going to be negative. And you know what I mean? Like you, for instance, I met you through Jiggly, obviously, but you've been super supportive. Every time I ask you a question, I feel like I'm pissing you off and annoying you, but you've always just straight up answered, and like, and it's awesome because like for me, it's just like this guy's supportive of me and wants to see me grow. You know what I mean? It's
No,
cool.
man, I'm not annoyed at all. Half the time it's like I'm usually working like 13 or 14, sometimes 15 hours a day. So a lot of
Right.
times, if I am getting back to you late on something, it's just because I'm just not I'm in a meeting or something like
Oh
that.
no, I mean, dude, by no means. I know this is not real life. This is just a hobby for all of us. You know what I mean? Like I understand that.
That's the thing is so many people actually think this is real life that are in
Well,
YouTube, and I'm surprised at that.
right. But so I will say this. Now that I'm at the 500 mark, I'm actually trying a lot harder, and that's stuff that we've talked about in private, like that I'm trying to
Mhm.
work on. Um, it's almost becoming not a hobby at this point. It's almost like a second job.
Yes, yes,
It really is. And with that aspect, that leads back into your topic of the toxic nature. Like, I just don't need to deal with all that. I just don't.
yeah.
Um,
I actually had to for a while there, and I had unsubscribed from a lot of the gaming channels that I
mhm.
followed because as I got to know a lot of people, and it's not all, but a lot of them have really big egos, and there's a lot of drama surrounding them. Like two of my YouTube friends actually got into a public Twitter spat, and then it went to them making videos about each other,
Ooh,
and I'm over here like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are we even doing this? And
yeah.
it's like, and for me, it's like when I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I need to take some steps back.
Right. And then, like, by no means, I'm not going to put anybody's names out there, but there was an incident on Twitter with the crew that I run with a little while ago. One
Mhm.
guy used a tag in his video, and then the other guy found it, and then this other guy went and found this other guy, and then they brought in a big dog who had lots of subs, and then they got him attacking him, and it's just like,
Oh
dude,
goodness.
this is just like we're just making videos, man. We all just want to talk about games, right? So like it's crazy to watch and learn about these different things. And like you like so in the collector sort of space that I'm in on YouTube, you would be surprised. You would be very surprised with the people that use sub bots that I've come to learn who use them. And I don't know. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. I mean, if I could pay $100 and be up to 20K tomorrow, yeah. I mean, the thought's there, but like they're not genuine views that you're getting. You know, you might have 20K, but you've got 40 views on your video. It's like, you know what I mean?
I've noticed that too. Like I've seen like there's, you know, I'm not gonna name names either, but like one YouTuber who now is at like 300,000 subs now. And I remember when he started in June of last year, I was one of his first subscribers or within his first 10. And then next thing I know, like he's just every time he put up a new video, he had so
Like
many
a ridiculous amount. Yeah.
Yeah, and it never seemed organic. I mean, granted, his videography was really good, but my God, like I was like, really? Like you're getting 10,000 subs to 30,000 subs? I know, right?
I mean, that seems ludicrous to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want that to happen for both of us, but like I don't think that's a thing. You know, like that's not a real thing.
Oh my God, Squid Vicious in the chat. Why'd you have to put his name out there? Oh, I was trying not to say that name, man. I still haven't publicly said it, so.
Oh, just wait. Say what?
Do you see the chat?
Yeah, YouTube. I hate seeing YouTubers. I hate. Yeah, yep.
And I didn't know like you could spend like $100 and you can get the 20,000 subs or whatever.
Oh, I don't know how much it is. I'm sure it's more than that, but
up to 500.
Say what?
I've seen some sites. Like I've gone to some sites to check it out to see what it is, and like you can pay 500, you can pay 1,000, pay $2,000, and you can get hundreds of thousands of subs. It's insane. You can buy.
But like, how does that work? Does somebody sit there and make new emails and make new YouTube accounts, and then they just subscribe to you? Like, how does that work?
I'm curious to know that. I would love to.
Because it would have to be a real email for it to be a subscriber, right?
Yeah.
So someone's sitting there getting paid $1,000 to make like 1,000 emails. I mean, that's crazy to think about that.
But yeah, like it's interesting to see that people and it's really bad in my opinion, because now when you see someone's growth, it kind of makes you wonder, like, is it organic?
Right. Like, again, I'm not going to call out this channel. It's a newer channel that I've found, and I really enjoy the guy's content. He's a really nice guy, but his subs just don't match his views. Like, he's got X amount, and then he'll get like 40 to 50 views, and it's just like, bruh, I know you cheating.
Yeah.
Because like with most, and I will say this, like with RGT85, and this is nothing bad, so don't strike me down with fire. He said in one of his videos, not you, just in the comment section and stuff, he said in one of his videos that if he gets 10% of his subscriber base to watch his video, he's happy with that. So he's at like 85, I think. So if he gets like 8,000 people to watch one of his videos, he's happy with that, you know, ratio. So for me, most of my videos usually get everybody watching it. So that means I'm basically getting 100% of my 534 that I'm at right now. So like, to me, that's great. That's if everybody's watching it, then I'm happy with that.
I'll say this though, do not go down the road of doing the giveaways until you get to like don't give away anything major, because you'll run into one of the things I've run into, and it's a lot of people subscribing and
then unsubscribing.
That, and then every video is about the giveaway. Like even when you're not talking about it, they'll bring it up in comments. Oh, it's cool, great video. Oh, I'm first. Oh, okay. When's the giveaway?
Well, so with my Vita video that I did, the collection video, that's actually like one of my best videos as far as views go. This dude randomly commented on me on the video, and I think I left it up. He was like, "Can you do a Vita giveaway?" And I was just like, bruh, you think I got $200 to just give away because you want one? Like, how are you gonna come into somebody's video and ask for a Vita?
I know, right? I get that so much. Like, I had one where I got people asking me, "Oh, when are you doing the Galaxy Note 8 giveaway?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then like, "Oh, you're giving it away, right?" I'm like, no. They're like, "Oh, well, you gave away so many other stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, a lot of the other stuff I've given away is basically." I mean, I'll say it like this: I have the benefit of being able to network with some companies because of having worked with Microsoft. I got to work with a lot of other companies like
Yeah,
Apple and
you've got
whatnot.
connection.
Yeah, so I was able to pull connections to get product to give away. Um, but then I started to see, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting a growth, but at the same time, I'm not having the audience
That you want.
yeah, like I've got mainstays that are, for me right now, they're friends in real life. Like Squidfish is a real good friend of mine. Riku Key, like he brought up, that's another friend. Power Level Amy. Like I've got a lot of friends on YouTube that are also, mods my chat and just friends in real life, and they watch my videos and they're 100% about it. But then you got people that when you do a giveaway, they will pop up only for that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
absolutely. And so for me, when I do them, I think I've done 4 or 5 now, right? So my
mhm,
first one went to the guy that actually did that Sega Saturn mod for me,
mhm,
and now he's actually a friend of mine, and I talk to him almost every day. And he has his own channel now. I convinced him to make his own channel because he has, you know, ideas and content that are great, and
mhm.
now we're good friends. So I'm happy that the giveaway went to him. And then like another giveaway that I did went to another channel, and he actually enjoyed the game that I gave him. And like, I like to see it go to people that are actually going to enjoy it, and not just flip the thing that I spent money on to give you.
Yeah,
Which is in the collecting market. If I give out like Super Metroid box or something, people might just flip that. You know what I'm saying? So what's the incentive for me to give away game stuff if you're just going to potentially flip something that I give you?
yeah. I
Like
know from. Go ahead.
like this one time I gave away a very mint condition platinum wavebird that's worth about 60 or 70 bucks,
Wow.
right? I think it was for 250 subs, I think it was. I've
Hmm.
never seen from that guy again.
Yeah, I've had those happen. I
So
get.
I was a man of my word. I sent it to him, but I've never seen him in the comments ever again. So in that aspect, yeah, giveaways. I mean, they're good, but like there's this one channel that's also in my little crew of guys. Um, they did hella giveaways, and I'm talking good stuff, like rare games. Like I said to you, I got Kuon, and it's almost like, yeah, it got you the subs, and no disrespect to them because I love their channel, but it's like, do you almost kind of have to do that, or you almost have to kind of make clickbait videos to get subscribers?
Yeah.
How do you like? What's your opinion on that?
No, I agree with you because that's how it is. Like that's one of the things I'm struggling with my channel. Is it could be because I don't have a lot of time also to devote to putting up multiple videos like I was last year.
Right.
I'm seeing significantly more success on iTunes, Google Play, like doing a podcast than I am actually doing. Even
Really?
with my website, like where I put the reviews up and I link it
Yeah.
to like my YouTube and written reviews. I see more success and traffic on my website on this podcast than I do with like my review videos. Like I've noticed if I were to go back and look at a lot of my more recent videos, some I barely break 50, some I barely break 100.
Really?
Um, and it's just if I clickbait it, I would get views, but I hate clickbaiting, so I won't do it.
It's
And
it's 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 a sticky situation because I'll be very honest with you. When I put out that Saturn video, I clearly labeled it, "Is this the ultimate Sega Saturn?" with a question mark, and clearly I did that on purpose. But in all reality, it is the ultimate Sega Saturn. So I got you to click in there because of the video, but it is a good video, and I don't know if you watched it, but I spent a lot of time on that video, so
oh,
I,
it's a great video.
I felt like it was kind of justified to put the clickbait title. So I do it sometimes. I'll be honest about it.
Yeah, and it's just like it's hard like to get that consistent audience going. Like once you can get it and get it going, great. But
Right.
It's one of the things I'm struggling with this year because I ended last year with doing a major giveaway. And it's because I had a good partnership with Microsoft,
Would you give away?
Nintendo. I gave away two Xbox One X's. I gave
No.
away. No, I did.
What?
Yeah, I pulled a lot of strings. So I pulled out. I gave out two Xbox One X's, a PS4 Pro Destiny Edition, uh, and three Nintendo Switches. Like I
What?
pulled a lot of strings to do those giveaways, and I had a good surge of subscribers. And then right after that,
All disappeared.
it's
Damn.
and I'm watching it daily. Like every time I look at my subscriber count, it's just going down. It's ticking down.
Really?
And I'll have people that pop up. They'll send me messages either on Facebook or on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, so when's your next big giveaway?" I'm like, I don't have anything planned, and like, "Oh, I only come to your channel for giveaways."
They say that to you?
I've had that said to me. Yes.
Ah, well, I would. I mean, me personally, I'm savage like that. You'd be blocked. If you say some shit like that to me, you're blocked, and I don't care. You know, that's just how it is. Like, are you from? Are you? I mean, you're a Nintendo guy, so are you familiar with Dr. Trey 81?
Yes, it was
He
actually a
did.
friend of mine.
No disrespect to him, I like him.
No, none at all.
It was one of his little fanboys, though. I commented something about being a game collector. I commented on one of his videos about how did I word it? You know, I'm not buying Bayonetta 2 because the Bayonetta 1's not on the cart. And then one of his little fanboys came in and started acting. He says to me, "You don't even have any consoles," and I'm just like, "What?"
Wow, really?
And I was like, "You can clearly see on my name that I collect games, and then if you were to click on it, you could clearly see that I'm a channel who plays hella games."
Mhm.
And then the guy, and then I respond to him, and I was just like, I didn't even put anything mean to him, but I was just like, whatever, dude. And then he ends up messaging me, and he goes, "Suck my dick, prick." So then I just, Jiggly actually recommended to do this. I sat there and I subscribed to him one day, and then I would unsubscribe, and then I would resubscribe. The next day, just keep popping up in his notifications just to fuck with him.
I mean, dude, I need to try that. One of the last
Because I was just like, if you're gonna come in here and be a dick to me, like without even any merit, like you don't, what, like you clearly can't read. You know what I mean?
No, I've had a situation like with the most recent one. Was actually about the giveaways, and when I told the person I don't have any, like one of the other people, I told them I don't have anything planned. They're like, they made a comment in a message. They said like something like they're gonna, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you, blah blah. I'm gonna find out where you are in Hawaii and kill you and your family." And I'm like, okay, that's too far. And I had that happen when the Switch first came out last year because it was funny. Oh damn, I didn't even realize it. Today is 1 year since I got married. Today.
Oh, oh, okay. Shit. You're in the doghouse, my man.
Damn. Anyway, but so on our wedding a year ago, I was getting death threats for it. Like,
For your wedding?
Yeah, like, well, no, for the Switch giveaway. And they're like, "Oh, if I don't get it, I'm gonna kill you, blah blah." And they were sending, stuff to my family, and
Wait, what?
and whatnot. Yes. And then I had another YouTuber, this one tech YouTuber called Positive Tech or whatever, and I thought I was cool with him, and then he was egging people on because he's like, "Oh, you can't afford to buy all these Switches and give them away, and I'm gonna expose you, blah blah." And I'm like, "The fuck?"
Does he have a big channel?
Well, I don't know what he has now. Back then, he only had like 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers.
Well, big compared to me. But yeah, I mean, that still sucks because that means he has a legion of fanboys.
Yep. And throughout the whole day of getting ready for the wedding, death threats after death threats after death threats, the whole honeymoon, death threats.
No, that's awful.
And I'm like, I made a response video to him, and I kind of left it at that. Like, it's just a toxic community.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that happened. None of that's happened to me yet, thankfully. But again, I'm only at 500. I don't know. I mean, and I'm not saying you don't, but for me,
everything. I wasn't even at 500 at that point. I was at 130.
Okay. So for me, everything that I do is genuine. Like and I don't mean it against anybody, but like when I talk about a game, it's because I truly beat it and I like it and this is my passion.
Mm.
And I don't like, I hope I never have to deal with something like that. I'm not saying you like that you dealt with that because of that, but like these people on the, it's, and again, I know that we're kind of on the same political level. Um, I feel like a lot of this has to deal with like mental health issues as well, where
Oh
these
yeah,
people,
yeah.
feel like they can click on a keyboard and be like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and then like, really, it's just some nerdy kid behind his keyboard.
Keyboard warriors, I like to call
Yeah.
them. They're all talk. And
So, yeah, the toxic community. I guess I haven't had to deal with it like you have.
it's funny as you would, I guess in a way I feel like my channel is kind of slowly dying off with the people unsubscribing, but I'm getting a lot of good new subs every day, so I guess it's kind of balancing itself off. But
Right. So for me, now that I'm more active on Twitter, I've been getting a lot of subs on Twitter or from that, and then they'll I don't know, I guess they just don't like my hair or my outfit or whatever it is, and then they just subscribe for a day and then they unsubscribe. But in reality, what it is that they might have a channel and they want me to subscribe to them because they have, even lesser subs than I do, maybe,
oh,
right?
the sub for sub thing,
Sub for sub kind of thing.
yeah.
And by all means, and by all means, and I want this to be a thing, and this should be a thing in the community. If you tell me, like, if MekelKasanova came up to me and subscribed to me and said, "Hey, man, I really like your channel," and you messaged this to me and you were like, "I would like you to, and check out my content and subscribe if you like it, and if you don't, you don't." And to me, that would be like a respect thing. Like, people could come in and be like, "I don't really like your content, Alex, and you're just not, you know." But I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say, but the sub for sub thing really is kind of silly, and like that, a lot of Twitter is sub for sub. Like people,
Yeah.
now don't get me wrong. If you follow me on Twitter, I will follow you back instantly because to me that's a dick move. Like if you're going to post some game pictures, great. I'll look at your game pictures and I comment with and talk with a lot of people on Twitter every day. But as far as YouTube, like I'm not going to just subscribe to your channel just because you have gaming content. Like if you're doing like if you're like an Atari 2600 based channel, I have zero interest in that. Why am I going to subscribe to you? You know,
That's true.
right? And then don't get me wrong, there's totally an audience for that, but it's not me. So,
No, you're right. You're definitely right about that. Um, I guess this can actually segue into the last topic. I guess we can talk about our journey as Well, we've been talking about technically our journey as content creators and YouTube's ups, downs, roundabout. Okay, well, actually, we actually talked about this already.
well, we can talk about it more if you want.
Yeah, it's up to you, man. So I guess finding your voice, style, content, direction, and one of the things I have started doing as of the last couple months, and I think it's more so because of the drama and fallout with my old group, and with seeing bigger YouTubers that I've become friends with, and getting to know them personally. Focus purely on subs, and just subs in general, and I've kind of taken a different approach with my YouTube. I kind of use it as a platform to network with companies, to get review units and review codes. Because I'll say this: once you're in, you're in. It's kind of like if you're
Yeah.
in IT, it doesn't matter what you're doing, so long as you're in, you can maneuver around. For me, being able to work with, you know, Sega and Sony and Microsoft, being able to, have them send stuff to me. Because for me, I look at it this way: one, and well, also because I get a lot of flack because I don't really do negative reviews, and I try to tell people, one, I pretty much only review games I have interest in.
Right. Like if I were to get codes, I'm only going to ask for the ones of the games that I know I want.
Yeah.
Like I would have, like, okay, for instance, with Konami, I would have asked for a Metal Gear Survive code, but I would have ripped that game a new butthole. Because I mean, you're saying it's good, and it very well probably is, but for me, from an outside standpoint, it doesn't look good to me. I mean, the gameplay looks good, but all the controversy doesn't look good to me.
It did need the Metal Gear name. They should
So
have just
you're
called it Survive.
should so yeah, so they should have made it some kind of its own franchise, basically.
Yeah,
I have a good feeling that they just tacked that on just because of the brand recognition. Really,
yeah.
that's
Because
why.
basically it's Monster Hunter World.
Yeah,
That's really like if I break it down, that's how it is. Because you're scavenging, you're building, you're making new and better weapons, improving your gear. It's basically Monster Hunter. But I get why they did that. But yeah, so for me to be I'll be honest, that actually was not a game I was gonna buy, and I was surprised when they contacted me back and said, "Hey, we need your address so we can send you the physical copy." I'm like, "You guys gonna send it to me? Okay, cool."
hell yeah.
And that's one of the things like I've been trying to talk to like a lot of YouTubers that either have as many subs or more than me or less than I do, like trying to get them to get out of like don't not go for subs because subs are good, build your community, but
Right.
also build the communities with the gaming companies or the tech companies themselves because they will actually advertise you. And I've seen a lot like my podcast. I've got a lot of growth on my podcast. The substantial number of growth on my podcast, over 50,000 people listening a
Wow,
month
that's pretty
is
crazy.
actually coming from, Sony and Microsoft in some way promoting me somewhere,
Really?
you know, and it's crazy. I've got one which is funny. Spectrum Glasses, like the company that does the glasses I did the review on.
Those
Uh,
are the yeah.
so now they're a paid sponsor for my channel now.
Really?
Yeah, and they're still looking for more people to review their products. So like I try to tell people like, look, there are companies that they're just it's for them it's either free marketing or it's less expensive than paying a marketing campaign.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
um
And so to touch on that real too, let me ask you one question. I kind of wanted to get your opinion on it. What do you feel about YouTube and Nintendo's whole monetization issues that they have, and not being like me not being able to just stream Mario Odyssey if I wanted to?
um
Like, what do you think they could do to make it better?
see, and I feel like Koei Tecmo does this too, or Namco actually, Namco and Square. I don't understand why they do that because, in my opinion, I think it's free marketing for Nintendo.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
let people do what they're gonna do.
Hmm.
This constant, we're gonna strike you down. We're gonna, you can't use our content, or like if you're in a Nintendo Creator Program, like I'm part of that too. Where if I have anything that has Nintendo content, if I have a review that uses any of their clips or anything, I have to run it through their site. They'll remove the monetization strike, but then I get like 1 cent a month from Nintendo because they take the bulk of
Hmm.
whatever. Like, I don't understand why they do that. I think it's silly. I think they need to
It really
stop.
is. Because for me, like, when the Switch came out, I wanted to stream stuff, and then like I did. I streamed Splatoon. I got striked for it, and it's just like it's discouraging as a content creator. Like it might seem like I'm a huge Xbox guy, but in all reality, I'm actually a big Nintendo guy. But I can't do anything with Nintendo stuff because they're gonna strike me down if I do.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a hard balance trying to go between like what can I actually put up and what can I not. Like it's
Like just recently, I did a Wii U 10 games that won't be ported to the Switch, and they're
mhm.
like legitimate games that really just would not work off of the Wii U. So it wasn't actually a clickbait video. Um, but for that, they didn't claim me or strike me. But then again, I'm not monetized anymore. But still, they typically always claim you and strike you. So I thought that was kind of weird on that one that they didn't, and it clearly had I think 8 first-party Nintendo games in it. So,
Mhm.
but I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, Nintendo. I feel like they need to just catch up with the times. It's, if you're gonna, so long as people aren't. I think if anything, if they're gonna strike anything, strike people that are trying to take your IP and try to make a new game out of it, like most of the companies in China and India do. Um,
Right.
but as far as streaming your content, just let people do what they're gonna do. Like that.
Well, so from one aspect, I could understand, like, if Nintendo were to be like, all right, DGC, you can stream, but you need to not cuss during the Nintendo streams. I'd be like, okay, fine by me. I would do that. Um, but other than that, like, what do I do that's so wrong? I don't, you know what I mean? And cussing is only, in my opinion, is only really a word. But some people don't enjoy listening to it, and that's fine. It's probably why I've lost some subscribers over the months and years. But
Don't
it
talk
is what.
politics.
Oh no, I don't. I don't. I don't.
I got hit hard with my my Black Panther video.
That was a good video, by the way.
I got so much hate. Like not even on the video, I was just getting messages like on Twitter.
No,
I'm like,
yeah, no,
okay.
I know. Yeah, you were going pretty hard there on the Twitter for the politics stuff there for a while. But no, I agree with your Black Panther video, very much so. And I would want to talk about it, but let's not. We can do that on the phone, not on a live stream.
Yeah. This is actually interesting because my next podcast, like the one that's going to be next week.
I'm looking forward to that. I actually found him through you, obviously, and then I went back and I subscribed to him and I looked at a lot of his content. It's a really good channel.
Like I know I'm gonna get flack for that, but I'm like, I don't care. Like that guy.
No, I mean, but he puts out like quality stuff, kind of like he's like me, but with politics. Like he puts it out with passion and he knows what he's talking about. He hits you with the bullet points, and I enjoyed watching his videos. Frankly, I sat there and watched like 10 in a row. So,
do you so like when it comes to trying to build an audience and finding your voice, like what advice would you have for people that are looking to get into YouTube? Because I feel like there's a lot of people that want to start, they just don't know where to go, what to do.
Well, I have a perfect example of it. So I kind of almost have, I'm almost in like a couple of groups really. The one that I'm in that does like my winter backlog challenge or my backlog challenge type things. Mm-hmm. There's a couple cats in there that could do their videos better. So for me, when I started out, I guess you could say I was nervous or shy about it, and I wasn't in the video, right? Like it was just my hands. Mm-hmm. There are very few people that have made it big enough with just doing hand videos. Like it doesn't happen. Like Nintendo Collecting is the only one I can think of that actually has a big channel with just having his hands in the video. So for me as a gaming channel, the worst thing you could do is not put yourself in the video because you're almost kind of disconnected from your audience when like it's just your hands. Now there's exceptions to that rule. Like if you're doing a collection video and you're just like, all right, here's my PSP Go, here's my GBA SP, and no, those weren't there on purpose. But like if you're doing that kind of thing and it's just the camera's facing down and you're just like, here's the next title, here's the next title, that's an exception. But if you're just doing all your videos that way, like my channel wasn't growing when I was doing that because nobody wants to watch your hands. They want to see you. They want to get the emotion out of you. They want to see your enthusiasm and stuff from what you're talking about. And that's, I don't know, that's something I feel like I kind of bring to the channel now that I'm, and I've always heard it too from different YouTubers. That kind of comes with, I guess just you growing with your channel and being more comfortable and more confident really is what it is. So like the original video that I actually showed myself in was my top 10 exclusives for the 360. Mm-hmm. And video never really got any traction, frankly, but it is what it is, and a long time ago. And nobody thought anything of it, and I was just like, okay, this is cool. I'm transitioning into being in the videos, and never looked back.
By the way, I just sent you like a bunch of contacts on Twitter.
Oh, okay, cool. Jiggly is saying put boobs in your thumbnails. Definitely. Put your face with your as well. But yeah, so for me, I would definitely say for like he's pretty savage sometimes.
He is.
Um, but you know, so that's one key thing I would say for a gaming channel, and I've watched a lot of people do that, and that's the biggest mistake you can make as a gaming channel with just not being in the video. You know, by no means, I know you're super into health and working out and stuff. I'm not physically fit at all. I'm pretty chunky.
Lies.
Yeah. I mean, I could be in better shape, but what I'm getting at is like, you know, don't be afraid of who you are. Just be confident with it. Like MekelKasanova, you are the only person that is you. You are the only you are Hawaii's greatest YouTuber. You present that and represent that well. I'm DGC and I represent that well. I'm the best game collector there is on YouTube. I know more than anybody knows about the original Xbox, and I'm confident in saying that. I can say that without a doubt. I
Dude,
mean,
I
obviously
get
not more than Microsoft people, like employees, but as far as collectors and YouTube creators, I can say that with confidence.
Dude, I get so much hate from people, especially out here, like other content. There's not a lot of Hawaii content creators.
Yeah, I
I
noticed that. Ever since I
get
met you, I noticed that.
I get so much hate because I call myself Hawaii's favorite YouTuber, and they're like, "Well, what makes you the best?" I'm like, "I didn't say I was the best. I said I was Hawaii's favorite." They're like, "Oh, why do you say that?" I said, "Because it's marketing."
Well, it's just catchy, frankly.
Yeah, I'm like, I
'Cause,
wanted
like
to.
every time I think of you, I'm like, oh, that's Hawaii's favorite YouTuber. Like it worked. It did.
So it's like when I do like I'm gonna do some collaborations with YouTubers out here in Hawaii, like, and thankfully these guys I'm cool with. They're like, even they've asked me like, oh, you know, why do you call yourself that? I'm like, it's something to make me stick out. I'm like, think wrestling, think The Rock. He called himself the People's Champion. You know, he's the great one. It's just, you know, it's just marketing. I'm like, I'm not considering myself better than anyone else, but
No, I mean, it is it kind of all falls down to marketing at the end of the day. It really does.
yep. So, but yeah, you know, one of the things too, I tell people if you're really looking to get into YouTube or any type of content creation, be it like a website with, you know, reviews, if you're going to do podcasting, because I mean, we could do a whole segment on podcasting. I've learned a lot about podcasting. It has its own bigger drama than YouTube, but
Really?
yeah, you'd be surprised. But one of the things I would say is, you know, find something you enjoy. So long as you're having fun with it,
Exactly.
that's the biggest, most important thing that I recommend for you know, anyone, just to have fun. Make sure everything that you're into is something you actually care about, because that passion comes through the screen to the person. You know, and I see a lot of it like when I used to do tech YouTube, like when I was into the phones and the computers and all that when I first started out, because I thought, okay, I'm passionate about it. But when you're pumping out video after video after video after video, just because you have a thought or because something popped up in the news, and if you don't personally have any attachment to it,
Yeah, you're not being genuine.
yeah, you know,
Yeah. So, like, perfect example in our chat right now, Jiggly. He releases a video whenever he damn well feels like it,
yeah, I know, right?
and
His
they're always
video is
good.
amazing.
And they're always
I love his Virtua Fighter series where he's
hmm
talking about the characters. Like no one else is doing that.
right. That's why he's getting traction. I mean, they're quality too, though. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely why. Definitely helped. But yeah, and as far as the getting into a gaming channel, it's not impossible, and you just got to find your crew, so to speak. You got to find the people that like what you have to offer. And you know, I'm not sitting here and saying like I have 500,000, but I mean, I like what I've got. I've built relationships with people that I enjoy talking to. You know, just yesterday I played Call of Duty with my friend MC Murr, another channel. Shout out to him. And then you know, I talk to Jiggly almost every day. I talk to my other buddy, my modder, pretty regularly. You know, mainly gaming. I talk to him pretty regularly. I mean, Tyler Stevenson. Those are kind of like the guys that I mainly have like gotten closer with as you know other channels, and you know, they're my buddies now.
Yeah.
You know, and like I would like to meet these guys in real life and like play couch co-op with them. You know,
Yeah.
so
I got that.
that's
I've got that going on too. Like Squid Vicious, like I talk to him every day. Liquid Metal, Power Level Amy, like, and it's amazing when the community that that you kind of build and then they become friends. Like
Yeah.
that's to me like the ultimate reward and payoff of being on YouTube is, making new friends, because it's kind of hard when you're doing the same routine of, with my job. Like I don't have really that much personal time to go out and hang out with people or to meet new people,
Hmm.
but being able to make new friends like here on YouTube or Twitter, or through podcasts or just through networking period, like it's such it to me that's the biggest, you know, payoff for me.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been a blast. I mean, just even meeting you recently, and it's cool to just meet people and talk about games and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely love to have I know we were talking about it before the podcast started, like, having Jiggly or Segalicious, you on the podcast. I think that would be amazing to
yeah,
see. And I'm thinking as this podcast is growing and I'm putting more focus on it and, increasing the production value, um, I would like to be able to have like a whole panel of people and we just have, just because I'm all about organic conversations and we can just flow from one to the
oh yeah,
next.
we've been talking for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh my God. But it's just like I want to be able to have that way, is not only as a way of a lot more people connecting, but as like a platform, like, because I'm not at all, in my opinion, like a big channel or anything, but I like to be able to see other channels, and if I can reach out by, having them on the podcast and then connecting them with like different companies or different other people, like I'm all about networking. Like that's
Yeah,
my biggest thing. Like I feel like because people help me network with a lot of people I know, I want to be able to turn around and network other people that I see coming up, and it's just
yeah,
I'm a big believer in paying it forward. Like that's just my mentality of how I work.
yeah. Um, I'm the exact same way. I feel like that's why you and me click so well. I feel like we are pretty similar in a lot of ways. Yeah, I mean, just if for me, I love helping out all the other channels. And in my 500 sub video today, I even mentioned, I was like, if you're a smaller channel and you want help, all you got to do is message me. Like and I said that, I was like, if you like the way I do thumbnails, if you want to know how to get the editing program that I use that I got for free, I will absolutely help you do it. It's an $800 editing program that I got for free. But I'll help you get that for free. And it's not strictly legal, but whatever. So, like I'm not opposed to helping people.
Exactly. And I it's the same thing. Like I've offered people the program I use, because I go between Vegas and Final Cut. And
I use Vegas is what I use.
do you like it a lot?
I use 15 Pro, and yes, I do like. I guess the only reason I like it is because it's what I'm accustomed to now.
Damn, I need to get 15 Pro. I'm using 14.
15 Pro. Okay, so I will tell you, I started out with 13 Pro, then I went to 14 Pro, now I'm on 15 Pro. 15 Pro blows those other two out of the water. So much so do you know did you notice with 14 that it freezes a lot and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 15 doesn't do that at all.
Okay, I need to
Yeah.
find out how to get 15.
Well, you now know somebody who knows how to get it for free. Hopefully Sony doesn't hear that.
Yeah. But actually, Sony doesn't own Vegas anymore, does it? I thought they sold it off.
I don't know. I'm not actually sure. They might have, maybe. I know they sold off Vio, the computers. They don't make the computers anymore. They're about to stop making the phones too. I'm a huge Sony fanboy. If you didn't know that.
Is that the Xperia with the 4K screen?
No, this is the XZ. This was the 2016 top of the line one. Which I love.
Damn good phones.
Oh man, they're amazing. But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, like I said, I have no problem helping other channels and stuff any way they want.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like being able to reach out to people to help out, like that's just as I'm getting older. Like I'm a few months shy. Well, not a few months. I still got half the year to go before I'm 30.
Oh, you're
And
not
like,
even that old, man. I'm 28. Don't make it sound like I'm old.
like it's just like just things I've learned in life, man. Just trying to pay it forward, helping people out. Like I don't know. I get so much out of that.
I am a firm believer in karma. I will say that.
Uh,
I feel like as if you help somebody somewhere along the line, somebody will help you in your time of need.
yeah.
You know,
Wait, so if you're 28, I'm 20. Oh, so wait, you're a year younger than me then, huh?
hmm
Okay.
89,
Okay.
and then Jiggly's 31. So we're all relatively close in age.
Jiggly just said we're all old as fuck. No, we're not. Oh man, yeah,
And
we
then
did.
Squid Vicious said Vegas is produced by Magic with an X in it now.
Ooh.
So it's not Sony anymore. Okay, so now I don't feel bad that I've been stealing not Sony.
Squid, I know how old you are. I know you're older than all of us, but you're still young at heart. That's what matters. Yeah, I gotta get you and Jiggly in our chat room because it's really we got a good network of people on here. I don't know if you've heard of Excess Gaming Podcast.
Mm,
Xander Scullion, he's super good. I came to know him through my friend Power Level Amy or Amanda, and if you like retro gaming and
yeah,
collecting, you two definitely need to do a crossover collab because he has an amazing podcast, he has an amazing channel, and I think we're gonna do a collab soon.
yeah, I would be down to meet him. I love meeting fellow collectors.
But yeah. All right. I mean, unless you got any other topics,
No, that's pretty much it.
I think we hit the gambit and
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much covered everything today. That was a lot longer than I had expected to be.
yeah, I didn't think it was gonna go that long. And again, I do apologize for being late to the game.
It's all good.
But yeah, thank all of you guys for watching DGC. And go ahead, tell people where they can find you and what your channel is about again, in case they're coming in late.
Yeah. All right. So what's going on, guys? I am Dat Game Collector. I make YouTube videos on occasionally reviews. I haven't really done one in a while, but there's a couple if you dig down deep into my channel. Unboxings pretty regularly. Top 10s here lately. Console restorations, guides on collecting, pretty much really anything that deals with collecting. I in some way, shape, or form, whether it's old, retro, current, modern. I own all the Sega systems except the Master System. I own every single Nintendo system, on all the Xboxes, all the PlayStations. So pretty much anything under the gamut, I own it, and I have 2 cents to tell you about a little bit about it. So if any of that sounds appealing to you, definitely come check me out, and look forward to hearing from you in the comments.
Awesome. And if you're looking to get a master system, I could probably hook you up with one because I have a friend that's trying to get rid of it. They don't want anything for it.
Oh,
And it's
well, that
got
would be.
like the Zapper, 2 controllers,
Oh,
about 40 games. I have one
really?
already. So,
Yeah,
uh,
that's like the last console that I want to own. It's the only
so,
thing I don't have.
so I will keep you posted on that then. Yes. So everyone, go ahead, make sure you go to that Game Collector's channel and hit that subscribe button, and also follow him on Twitter. The links are down in the description below. I'm MekelKasanova, the host of the Kasanova podcast. I want to thank you guys, everyone in chat, also Jiggly, Squid Vicious, Liquid Metal, everyone that's come through. Carl Rocco, I'll have you on my next one, and definitely make sure you tune in next week, March 10th. Oh my goodness, the noise over here at the street. I hate it.
Yeah, a lot of noise above me right now too.
But anyway, so make sure you guys tune in next week, March 10th, for my 15th episode with the amazing Lucas. We're going to talk fitness, politics, gaming, and more. And pretty soon we're going to have, I would love to have that Game Collector and also Jiggly on the podcast together. I think this needs to happen. If you guys want to see it, I'm ready to do it. If you're ready to do it, we should make it happen. But that being said, thank you guys for watching. We will catch you on the. Actually, before we go, DGC,
Yeah.
tell people what you're working on next. That way they can get a snippet of it.
Oh, okay. All right. So the teaser video is actually coming out next weekend. This is something I've been working on since I was 12 years old, technically, but recently just started actually collecting it about 2 years ago. I live in North America, so I only care about games that physically came out in North America. Original Xbox exclusive set. I painstakingly went through and Googled every single title, and then I eBayed every single title on the master list that came out for the original Xbox. So I spent a lot of time doing it. Nobody's ever done this to my knowledge. So I have made my own master list that has been verified 4 times. Me and my cousin checked it 4 separate times. All the original Xbox exclusives that came out to it physically on the console level. I'm not talking about PC, but on the console in North America on the Xbox. I'm going to be producing a lot of videos on that. I don't know exactly how many it's going to be. The first one is going to be A and B, all the exclusives from the A alphabetically and all the B exclusives alphabetically, and I'm very ecstatic to bring this out to YouTube. So it's something I've been working on for a long time.
That's amazing. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Everyone, make sure you subscribe to his channel and follow him. Ding the bell. That way you get notified of all his video content that comes up. And also make sure you follow him on Twitter, because this is going to be amazing. I think this is – I don't feel like anyone's done this.
They haven't. I've looked. I'm the first one that's done it.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that. All right, people. With that being said, thank you for watching. You can catch me, MekelKasanova, on YouTube and on Twitter. Just look up MekelKasanova, and definitely subscribe to That Game Collector. Again, this guy is amazing, and let's go ahead and get him to that next plateau. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Deuces wild, too sweet, be the elite, and I'll see you on the next one.